High school football is on the air. This evening, from Fighting Bison Stadium, the South High Fighting Bison entertain the Cheyenne Central Indians. It's the regular season finale for both squads. The simple math for tonight's game, win, and you're in for next weekend's 4A playoffs. High school football on 1480 KRAE is being brought to you by our fine sports sponsors. Now, let's send it out to South High and Fighting Bison Stadium for this evening's contest between the Fighting Bison of South and the Central High Indians. But before the game gets underway, let's check in with our pregame show first, right here on 1480 KRAE Cheyenne. And good evening. Welcome from Fighting Bison Stadium. Larry Proetti, son, Nick Proetti, joining me here on the broadcast this evening. Tonight's game being brought to you by Terrell Honda, Baskin-Robbins, Cheyenne State Bank, Merritt Plumbing and Heating, Chick-fil-A, Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service, the Gill Window Company, Best Western Plus, Frontier Inn, Little Philly, Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service, Platte Valley Bank, Taco John's, Marv's Plumbing and Heating, First Tier Bank, Big Apple Bagels, and the Cheyenne Stampede. As we said in the open, Nick, it's a very simple drill. Win, you're in. The atmosphere here already tonight has that playoff feel, even though these two teams are both coming in at 2-6.
Absolutely, and again, for South coming off of a huge win last weekend, at least last Friday game we had here on 1480 KRAE, again, getting the victory against Campbell County Camels. But again, the theme is, yes, win and you're in for both teams. Now for both teams, for instance, again, and if either team does, at least we know one team's going to have to lose tonight, they do have at least possibilities to sneak into the playoffs as well, too. But, again, for South and Central, it's simple. Hey, you need a win, and you got that guarantee. But they need, for the loser of this contest, need a lot of luck, including one Kelly Walsh Campbell County contest where both teams, at least looking at the scoreboard for that one, hoping for a Camels victory and at least their first victory on the season by Campbell County.
Well, we know that KW is hurt as they get ready for tonight's game. We also know that the Camels like to throw the football as they basically opened up the playbook last weekend against Cheyenne South. Can they win in Gillette tonight? Don't know. Like you said, we'll definitely be keeping an eye on the scoreboard. These two teams won't be keeping their eye on the scoreboard. Our ball game tonight also being brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne, which features our Pepsi scoreboard. Medicap Pharmacy, Key of Cheyenne, Lennox Auto Body, the Bread Basket Bakery, First Education Federal Credit Union, Fat Boys Tire and Auto, B&B Appliance and TV, Capital Lumber Company, Halliday Motors, and MHP, McGee, Hearn, and Pies. As we look at tonight's game, the Cheyenne Central Indians again matching up with identical 2-6 records. You and me both know, and even the Indians know for a fact, they should not even be sitting here fighting for their playoff life. They should be going, hey, we're trying to battle for that number 5 hole. Yeah, they should be a 4-up and 4-down team.
A play here and there with that Rock Springs contest that did go to double overtime there at Central, which, again, obviously that was a toss-up. And then one play, at least the final 27 seconds in that contest over in Laramie, a game that we had. Both of those contests, yeah, Central right now kind of kicking themselves, at least head coach Mike Apodaca kicking himself, saying, hey, we should have gotten those victories and at least solidified ourselves and not have to worry about at least this contest coming up tonight. But here we are again, both teams 2-6. Winner goes on to the playoffs with that guarantee. And again, the loser of this one, cannot stress this, they're not out of it. And that does include South. They are not technically out of it. They just need a lot of luck from a few teams around Class 4A.
Well, in the case of the Fighting Bison, good win last week against Campbell County. The flex bone looked really good at times for the Fighting Bison. Matter of fact, Alex Soto rushing for nearly 200 yards in that contest. I think the key, though, has been the change at the quarterback position. The sophomore Cade Burns has given way to the senior Trey Tremble, and Trey has really engineered a very potent offensive attack. They can score from anywhere on the field. It's just a matter now of, on that defensive side, they're going to have to clamp down because that secondary night is going to be tested by one Dawson McCleary, Nico Vite. You run right down the list, Brady Storbo.
And it's something that head coach Dan Gallus did speak with you about when you at least interviewed him, and the post-game wrap-up of last week's contest. He did realize that, yes, Central's not afraid to throw the ball, and again, they're going to have to just kind of gear up for this one and prepare themselves. Same with South, though, at least for Central. They anticipate, yes, South is going to run, and they will run a lot tonight. But we saw, at least in Friday's contest, Trey Trimble, he's not afraid to throw as well. We saw that one, I do believe it was about a 40-yard touchdown.
41-yard touchdown pass to Dominic Dominguez, yes. All right, coming up on our pregame show, we'll have the Mountain West Conference schedule. We'll have our athletic director's report. This time, not Chad Whitworth, not Mark Puev. It will be Laramie County Community College Athletic Director Clark Rasmussen. We'll also have our Coach on the Road report with Mike Apodaca. The head coach of the South High Fighting Bisons, Dan Gallus, will join us. And then we'll also get you caught up on the 4A weekly schedule. All coming up as our pregame show continues right here on 1480 KRAE. It's time now for the Mountain West Conference schedule for this weekend with all of the Mo West teams in action and all conference games. Kicking off this evening, it will be Colorado State at Boise State at Albertson Stadium in Boise. They'll get underway at 7 p.m. At 8 o'clock, the Air Force will face UNLV at Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas. On tap for tomorrow, the Utah State Aggies will visit the Wyoming Cowboys. It's homecoming at War Memorial Stadium. Fresno State will visit New Mexico. The San Jose State Aztecs will host the San Jose State Spartans. And the Nevada Wolfpack will head to the islands to face Hawaii at Aloha Stadium. We'll take a timeout. We've got more of our pregame show coming up after these words right here on 1480 KRAE. And we welcome to our program one Clark Rasmussen, who is the athletic director at LCCC, Laramie County Community College.
You almost had it on try one there. You just...
I know, once in a while I have to read the idiot cards. That's how I'm an old guy. But anyway.
I feel like you got an idiot book in front of you, how much you do.
You got an idiot son to the left of me.
Wow.
Anyway, we got right now Clark Rasmussen joining us. And, we always have the opportunity for our football games, before our football games, to talk to the ADs here on the high school side. Why not? Let's talk to the junior college athletic director, find out how things have been going for the summer and fall sports program.
Especially with fall sports wrapping up.
Don't interrupt. It's obviously the busiest time for you, especially over at LCCC, because a lot of the sports are all lumped in at this time of year.
Yeah, one thing that's really nice for us is we just got done with the Sean Doobie Rodeo this last weekend, so we hosted that. We always host one rodeo a year, so that's over and out of the way. This coming week, obviously, as you announced earlier, Nick, that we have women's and men's soccer. Their quarterfinals are this coming weekend. It's busy. It's busy with everything wrapping up and basketball getting started. We're excited, though. It's a good time of year.
Again, a little difference from where you were at in southern Idaho to here, because there's more athletic events that are on the
schedule for College of Southern Idaho, but here at LCCC, in your first sitting down as the athletic director, did you see things just moving along too quick for you, or did you?
Yes.
You said, "Or I've been through this, and it's not all that difficult."
This is a lot more than what I've dealt with before. At one time, it's kind of nice to look forward and see the spring with nothing happening, and just focusing on academics and being able to prepare for next year. It's really nice. It's a lot, but that's what we signed up for.
It's interesting that you say it kind of slows down for the winter sports, the late fall winter sports, which is just hoops, men's and women's basketball. Mm-hmm. After we get done with our tournaments that we have here for soccer and volleyball, but it's interesting because you look at the high schools and they'll move into wrestling, mm-hmm. and they'll go back into the pools again. It's kind of a little different feeling for me that, gee, we only have just a couple of things going on at LCCC leading us up to March.
Sure, yeah, and it's when you say when I say it slows down, we still, some of the things that I'm trying to do right now is get involved with some of the national stuff as well, and so it's really not going to slow down per se for what I'm doing, but as for the sports and what's happening on campus, it will slow down.
What has happened to you since you have sat down in that athletic director's chair at LCCC? Again, learning not so much the job, but learning everything that's going on in the NJCAA. I mean, are there different rules, different laws coming down? I mean, is there something always going on with the NJCAA?
There's always something going on. One thing that I've gotten the most of since I've been here is more gray hair. And my mom noticed it last time I went back to Boise. But as for the national office, there's a lot of things that are going on, and a lot of different bills that people are trying to get passed, and some lobbying and everything happening. There's even stuff happening on the regional level that we're trying to get figured out. So, right now, currently as the Region 9 sits, we're looking at we have a north and a south. Some of our sports are challenging that and trying to get it to where it's one big region again, so that they can play everybody once and get a true regional tournament, where right now it could be watered down a little bit, where we have a north and a south, and it's not the true best 8 teams that are going to the region tournament or the best 12 teams going. So there's things that are happening behind the scenes that we're trying to make it the best for us and the best for the region. As for the national stuff, yeah, it's always a constant.
You mentioned tournaments, Region 9 tournament that will be taking place not at LCCC, but at Story Gym. So, and again, we've already talked with Coach Albers about that, and we're talking 2 inches that has to send you over to Story Gym. So tell us a little bit about all of that and this particular tournament that's coming up.
So when the gym was built, it was built to standards, and it was built tall enough. If you remember, it had an old rubber floor on it. A couple of years ago, they put in a new spring wood floor, and with that extra 2 inches that floor gave us for that spring and for what we need for a gym floor, made us 2 inches short to be able to host the postseason. So we are taking it to Story Gym. We're glad that we can keep it in Cheyenne. It's something that the region has challenged us on, but this is the first opportunity for volleyball that we've had to host, and so we're excited, and we're looking forward to it.
Well, the interesting thing about that, again, we're talking 2 inches makes a difference for playing at least a tournament, but you can play regular season contests there at the RAC for at least for women's volleyball. Is that something that could be a problem down the line, where maybe teams or the region kind of forces LCCC's hand of saying, well, all right, we need to address this 2 inches, and you need to adjust this because, again, well, it's no longer suffices in the regular season now to play. Is that something that could be a problem?
Absolutely, it could be a problem. It's a matter of who wants to address it and who doesn't. And also the other thing is, when it comes down to it in the regular season, people, coaches and administrators from other schools, they're not going to challenge that 2 inches in the regular season. Does it count? Yes, it counts. Does it matter as much as it does in the postseason? No. When it comes to postseason, it's you win or you go home. And when you put that on people and that pressure for coaches, 2 inches matters.
Right now, we're talking with Cheyenne Central High School head coach Mike Apodaca as the Indians get ready to take on the Cheyenne South Fighting Bison. Coach, obviously, your young men know what's at stake when you're in. Little pressure on the kids, or is it more pressure on the coaching staff?
I'm not sure that there's any pressure. I think we're both embracing it, to be honest with you. I mean, we're in the ninth game of the season. We still have a chance to make the playoffs, and we've just tried to embrace that part of it. So, I don't feel any pressure. I'm not sure that the kids do either. Just, we just got to do what we do.
You look at this Fighting Bison team that you're taking on, and of course you're at Fighting Bison Stadium. They come off a win last week against the Campbell County Camels. Of course, you've had two tough ones over the last couple of weeks, one that we had with you against Cheyennes and Casper Natrona here most recently. I guess the question is for your team, couple of tough ones, but are they battle-tested and ready to rock and roll here on Friday?
I think they are. I think they understand the task at hand. They've had a good week of practice so far and energized, and coming off two losses that, at some points, you felt like you were in the game and then kind of got taken out from under you real fast and getting through those emotions. But they've been pretty resilient all year and coming back to practice each week, ready, for the next task, I guess.
As you look at this South High Fighting Bison team, Coach Gallus is going to throw that flex bone at you, and if they need to throw it, they'll throw it as well. Defensively, they do pose quite a bit of problems.
They do. I mean, you always appreciate a team that knows who they are and hang their hat on it, and and we've got to be able to stop the run. Obviously slow it down. To hopefully get them into long yardage situations. And so, they do a heck of a job over there. They got, a good group of skilled kids, and they play hard. That's what shows on film. They seem like a kind of a tough, scrappy group, and we're going to have to match that piece, against kind of a powerful running team.
Coach, as you mentioned, you're coming into the ninth week of the season with your team, and again, a mixture of young guys along with some veterans. But in your first season and being back at your alma mater, Cheyenne Central, what have you learned about your team throughout the course of the year?
I think kind of what I said earlier. I think kids are pretty resilient, probably more so than us as coaches. I mean, if you lead them, I think they'll follow, and they're doing a heck of a job at that. As a teacher, as an educator, as a coach, we're always trying to teach our kids things, and that's no different on the football field. And I think the biggest thing this year is just, teaching them that, to kind of believe in themselves, to play for 48 minutes, those sorts of things. I think they've been beat up, for so long that it's been easy to pack a game in, pack a season in. And so we've really focused on that piece of it. And, we definitely see it, I think we all wish it came faster, and it has maybe, but, we've been close in two other games, but again, going back to, I think some of those things I just talked about kind of reared their ugly heads. And, so we've just got to be able to overcome, ourselves, to be quite honest with you.
Final thought, and I look at your quarterback, Dawson McCleary, surrounded by a lot of seniors, and of course you also have a sophomore out there in Brady Storbro that starts on your offensive line. Let's talk about the maturation of one Dawson McCleary. Again, you're going to have him back next season after this is all said and done. Hopefully we get to see the Central Indians get through the playoff run as well. But again, tell us about his maturation at that quarterback position. And, of course, again, you can look forward to him coming back and slinging the football for you again next season.
Yeah, I think Dawson's, turned into, over the course of 9 weeks, turned into a quarterback. I think, before he got him, he was an athlete that, obviously one of the better athletes, in the school or in his class, and you always tend to put those into a quarterback position. I think he was just kind of an athlete playing the position, where I think over the last 9 weeks especially, he's matured into a quarterback where he's understanding, progressions and reads, and and timing and things like that make, that can help make this, offense successful. And I think as we look forward to next year, just having that year under his belt of running our system. And when I say running it, not just knowing it, but, he has a lot of checks that he goes through himself to make sure we're in the right position. And I think having that year under his belt is just, he'll start now. His true athleticism and arm talent will just start taking over because the thinking part will slow down. So definitely, and more important, I think the thing about Dawson that's really impressed me is he's a warrior. There's probably no kid that's harder on himself than he is. He has high expectations for himself, and at times we've struggled to protect him, and the kid's taking some shots and he just keeps getting up. And so hopefully this week we'll do a little bit better job of that. But I just really appreciate his leadership in that, and look forward to his week this week and hopefully another week and beyond, and then obviously into next year.
That's our opposing coach segment with Cheyenne Central head coach Mike Apodaca. Let's take a timeout. Dan Gallus from Cheyenne South will be up next as we continue on with our local coaches report right here on 1480 KRAE. Right now, we're talking with South High head coach Dan Gallus. Coach, thanks for joining us once again on our pregame show. Real quick, wanted to chat with you. A couple things I saw last week in our ball game with the win over Campbell County. First off, it was a night that you honored your seniors, and again, very few seniors said adios to the program. But one of your senior players, and that is now in play at the quarterback position, is one Trey Trimble. And I have to say, at 5'10", 208, and running your offense, you have to be very proud of the way he stepped in and has directed that offensive unit here through the latter part of the season.
Well, yeah, we are. We are proud of him. We're proud of all of the kids and how they're responding. He's doing a very nice job of taking our offense and doing what we do best, and that's executing our run blocks and fakes. And when we do call him to throw the ball, he threw pretty well the other night, and we're proud of that. I think I'm more proud of him and the way he leads his teammates and encourages and inspires them and calms them down at times.
I'm also a fan of the guy in the trenches. They never get the publicity, but doggone it, on this radio show, they're going to get some publicity. Your lineman really stood tall and proud against Campbell County last week. Gave Trey time to throw, even though he only threw about 4 times. But the holes that they were opening up, and again, credit to your running backs, they did the run to daylight. But again, your offensive lineman really made the night easy for your running backs.
Well, there's no question that being a former lineman myself, I've always thought that the no-back runs where a lineman hasn't been first, and that was instilled in me a long time ago. And I think that axiom still holds true, that you got to have the blocking to be able to run the ball. And our guys did a very nice job. I was very proud of them, and we're looking forward to them being able to execute tomorrow night.
Coach, as we look forward to the game against the Cheyenne Central Indians, and again, we've both been on the playing side. We've also, you've had obviously more years coaching than I have. But, the kids are smart enough to understand. They've heard the media, and they know when they've gone to practice this week, the bottom line is win, you're in. How do you and the coaching staff kind of deflect that pressure from them and just get to the basics of, hey, here's what we got to prepare for on Friday night?
Well, I think you tell them the situation and then you leave it alone. I think that's the best way to do it. You work on perfecting and looking for excellence in the way they execute, and the more that they do that well, then victories will come. We're not going to focus on winning a ball game. We're going to focus on one play at a time, and we're going to execute that one play, and then we're going to go to the next play. And we're going to do the same thing on defense, and we're going to do the best that we can on defense and play, keep everything in front of us, special teams. I think the key to the game, any game, is ball security. We want to make sure we maintain ball contact, and we make sure that we get the ball when we can.
Coach, does it make a difference, even though we're playing a crosstown rival? But the good news is that you're playing at Fightin' Bison Stadium. Does home field make a difference, at least for your kids?
Well, we'd like to think so. It's nice that we're at home. It's nice that we're in our own locker. It's nice in our own locker room. We have some, familiarity with the way and the tempo that things work out before the game. I think after you get going and we're on the field, it's not really that big a deal. We're hopeful that we have a big crowd, and that'll help us through the difficult times, and we can battle through and come out victorious.
Coach Apodaca, your opposing coach for the Central game, he's come in. He's brought a new culture into the Cheyenne Central program. I've had them a couple, 3 times this year. One of the things I see that they are getting much better at is that passing game. And, again, your secondary is going to be pretty tested coming up.
I totally agree with you, Larry, that they've gotten better each and every game. They continue to improve, and I expect them to do the same for this week. And they're going to spread us all the way out and try to nickel and dime us with their passing game and then throw over the top when they get an opportunity. What we're going to do our best to do is get to the quarterback and make it difficult for him to throw, and we're going to try real hard to maintain our coverages and play well in that secondary. But I do think the number one thing is that we don't give them the ball. If we maintain ball possession, it's going to be difficult for them to score.
Final thought, Coach, as we prepare for the Cheyenne Central Indians. Tell us a little bit about the health of the ball club. I know through the course of the season you've gone through a little bit of the injury bug, you've had the cold bug, but as we head into the final regular season game, how's the health of the ball club?
Well, as of today, I think we're okay, but who knows what tomorrow will bring. So it's just hard to say. It has been an interesting year with all kinds of reasons that kids are missing. It has to do with their health. It has to do with family predicaments. It has to do with just different things that are in their life. Or, you're dealing with high school kids. It's really hard to predict what's going to come from one day to the next.
That's Cheyenne South head coach Dan Gallus on our pregame show. Let's take a 60-second timeout. When we come back, it's tonight's starting lineups, the Central Indians and the Fighting Bison of South High, right here on 1480 KRAE. Before we get you to the starting lineups, let's bring you the regular season finale schedule for Class 4A. In addition to our game here at South High, Cheyenne Central versus the Fighting Bison, it will be the Natrona Mustangs taking on the Rock Springs Tigers in the Tigers Den. The Cheyenne's Thunderbirds will be at the Okie Blaster Sports Complex in a big contest as they play host to the Sheridan Broncs. The Casper Kelly Walsh Trojans on the road at Campbell County to face the Camels, and the Laramie Plainsmen will take on the Thunder Basin Bolts also in Gillette. We'll be back with the starting lineups after these words right here on 1480 KRAE.
Welcome back to Fighting Bison Stadium. It's homecoming tonight for the Fighting Bison. Last week we were here. They were honoring the seniors. Well, tonight homecoming as they have Cheyenne Central. 2-2-6 teams. Win, you're in. If you lose, there's a outside shot you might get in, but again, it's going to be up to whoever plays well tonight to secure themselves into the 4A playoffs. Central won the toss. They are going to receive. Here's how they're going to come out offensively. On the offensive line, the big hosses, left tackle, 6'1", again, tentative starting lineup, 6'1", 251, Reese Rubin. Left guard will be 5'10", 245, sophomore TJ Wilson. In the middle will be Jimmy Koenig. He's a 5'10", 227, sophomore. Right guard, DJ Weiss, 5'11", 250, a senior. And at the right tackle, Jordan Conine, 6'2", 235, and a senior. Your wide receivers will be Nico Vite, he's 5'9", 155 and a senior. Also joining him will be Ty Langley, 6 foot 150 and a senior, and Blaine Dilly, 6'3", 160 and a senior. Your lone running back will be Kobe Goosen, 6 foot 185 and a senior. The tight end is Brady Storbo, he's a sophomore, 6'4", 225. And your quarterback is the junior, Dawson McCleary, 6'1", 160, and again, he is a junior. We'll take a 30-second timeout. The South High defense when we come back. Well, the South High Fighting Bison will be on the defensive side. Defensive end will be Brady Dunn. Your tackles will be Hunter Scott and Christian Martinez. The defensive end will be Jace Packard. Your linebackers will be Wyatt Garcia, Austin White, Trey Trimble, and Joe Hansen. And your secondary will feature Kari White, along with Tyler Wilkin and Michael Mascaneras. We'll take a 60-second timeout. We'll come back. The opening kickoff right here on 1480 KRAE. Well, we're ready to get it all underway here at Fighting Bison Stadium. Of course, they're kicking off over at Cheyenne East. We'll keep that also in our thoughts as well with the Thunderbirds taking on the Sheridan Broncs. We think about this game, win, you're in. Well, for the Cheyenne East Thunderbirds, a lot at stake. Win, you could be anywhere between 1, 2, and 3. Depending on the coin flip, you lose, you drop all the way down to 4. At least you know next weekend you're going to be home. These two teams, they know they're going to be on the road somewhere next weekend. Could be in Cheyenne, doubtful. But again,
there's a possibility.
A remote possibility on what happens with these.
There's coin flips, there's determinations, there's a lot that still needs to be determined right now for Class 4A.
Pedro Silva will put a foot into it. He'll keep it low on the ground. It's picked up by Goosen at the 26-yard line to the 30, 40, and he will drive forward to the 45-yard line. First down and 10 for Cheyenne Central, led by junior quarterback Dawson McCleary. One thing that we've seen in our ball games with Dawson through the 3 times that we've had Central this year, not afraid to throw the football. And again, too, I think, talking with Coach Apodaca this week, he's starting to really, adapt to that role. He knows what's expected of him, and he's looking forward to even having him back next season as well.
And with
Coach
that
Apodaca.
confidence, it's also, too, going to his wide receivers. It's going to Storbo. It's going to Vite. Again, you see it at least reciprocating across that team right now. Again, it's going to be interesting to see. Central, we know, again, we'll throw the ball over the South High team, but will South be prepared? Again, Dan Gallus really realizing that Central will do that, and assuming that they will be prepared coming up.
Interesting, a stoppage of play that the referee, I don't think I've seen that all season long, made both McCleary and Storbo go over to the sidelines and take their head bandanas off. So now we are ready to load it up. Langley will split out on top. Vite will also join them out on top. To the near side is Dilly, also joining him. They'll hand it off to Goosen. Goosen to the 50, to the 45, 47-yard line. I think he lost the football. South says they have it.
South is pointing, and yes, they do. South
High will pick up the Goosen fumble after a 12-yard run, and it will be first down and 10 for the Fighting Bison. As I talked with both coaches, Nick, I said, could nerves be number 1 on the list tonight?
And so far, right now, it's showing with at least Central fumbling the football against South. Here's their opportunity to strike fast and get at least points on the board here early.
So wiping out a 12-yard run by Goosen, and South will have great field position, ball on their own 43-yard line. They are led by the senior Trey Trimble, as he will bring them up first down and 10. Alex Soto is your fullback. Your wings are Dominic Dominguez and Wyatt Garcia. Garcia in motion. They'll come back on the counter to Dominguez. He tries to get outside, cuts it back up. Short gain on the play, maybe 1, and it will be second down and 9 for the South High Fighting Bison.
And again, this is something we're going to see the entire night, at least South grinding out those yards on that rushing. Obviously, again, the question is, at least when will Trey Trimble throw the ball tonight? That's going to be the big, at least, question for this evening for South High Fighting Bison.
First down, check that, second down, 9. Cade Burns shuffling the play. He'll line up as a wide receiver, the former quarterback, now sophomore wide receiver again. Into the flex bone in motion. This time is Dominguez. They'll pitch it back to Dominguez. Dominguez outside along the sidelines, 50-yard line in Central Territory, has the first down and more to the 45-yard line. That should be a pickup of 11 on the play. So for Dominic Dominguez, 2 rushes and 12 yards. Actually, they'll give him the 44. We'll give him 12 on that run.
And again, the key word I've been saying this week, at least for this matchup, has been momentum. Right now, South is showing that they have that momentum carrying over from last Friday's game against Campbell County. Again, what we're seeing tonight, at least here early on, is the exact same thing of what they did against Campbell County.
Cheyenne Central has yet to see Alex Soto toe the football for the South High Fighting Bison. Now, motion by the Fighting Bison. Just a little quick on the snap there was Wyatt Garcia. And they'll be penalized 5 yards back to the Indian 49-yard line. So it'll be first down at 15. It's almost amazing how you can have a procedure call or an offside on the offense, especially when they know the count.
Again,
you're leaning forward. You're always taught, even as a lineman, you're taught to lean forward anticipating that count.
I mean, here, final regular season, at least contests, and you'd figure you'd have all these things worked out, but Again, maybe it is just those jitters of this contest.
Yeah, Burns split to the near side. Hunter Scott, the tight end, also to the near side. And they'll hand it off to Soto. Soto busts his way down to the 45-yard line, so he'll get back 4 of the penalty yards. It'll be second down, a long 11.
The interesting little thing right there is, at least folks on the YouTube and Periscope side could see that Central, at least South went with that hard count again and almost drew off Central offsides.
And not a good sign to see Soto limp off. Checking in the lineup for South, as they'll shuffle in plays like they did last week, Kobe Bardo. And we'll see, it looks like Joe Hansen has moved into the fullback position. In motion is Dominguez. This time, back to pass goes Tremble. Fire up, pass, and it's going to be picked off by Dilly. Dilly will pick it off, and it looks like they're going to give him progress at around the 19-yard line. So Trimble, first pass of the night, and it's an INT. Overshot his receiver.
Well,
again, trying to do like they did last week, go down the seam.
And again, they had very good fortune, at least last week against Campbell County, but at least we got our answer of when Trey Trimble would throw, and the answer was nothing what the Fighting Bison were hoping for.
South in the home black uniforms, gold numerals, white outline. It is first down and 10 for the Indians. Goosen right behind the big hosses for about 3 on the play, as he will check in at the 22-yard line. So for Kobe, a little better this time, at least.
I think he's
holding on to the football.
I was going to say, he probably had a little tighter grip on that ball, at least on that handoff.
Andrew Johnson in. He'll split to the near side along with, looks like Vitae and Storbo, as they'll go trips to the near side. McCleary on a hard count, and he's a master at that and getting you to jump offside. Langley split out on top. Goosen out of the shotgun is McCleary. He'll step, he'll throw. He's got a man. That's Langley. Langley sidesteps one tackler, yards after the catch, very important, and he will get it up to the 35-yard line. So about 12 yards on that pass play from McCleary to one Ty Langley. Again, like you said earlier, Nick, everybody on the Central Indians better have their eyes open because McCleary will come to everybody on the field.
And I think at least those wide receivers, along with Storbo, certainly have that idea.
Bad snap. McCleary picks it up, swings one out to Vitae. 35, 40, and he'll step out of bounds at the 41-yard line. So a 6-yard pass play, running catch from Vitae. Catch and run, I should say. McCleary comes out firing 2 for 2 here on this second drive.
And so far, at least with Central, they are throwing the ball right now. But again, it's kind of a slow dissection against this South High defense.
Langley along with Vitae out on top. McCleary out of the gun in an I formation. They'll hand it off to Goosen. Goosen banged right at the line of scrimmage. Looked like Trimble bear hugged him at the 41. No gain on the play. So it's going to be third down for the Indians. Got to get up to their own 45-yard line. Ball rested at the 41. Indians going left or right across your radio dial for this evening, or if you're YouTubing or Periscope via Twitter. There's too many things for me to remember now. You're gonna have you got to feed all that stuff into my headset here. Back to pass goes McCleary. Hits Langley on a quick slant, and that will be a first down. A pickup of 6 yards on that pass play. So Langley with his second reception, 2 for 12 yards for McCleary. First down and 10 with the ball right now on the Indians' 47-yard line.
Again,
Pepsi scoreboard, 8:36 to go.
Interesting thing, though, with this Central offense, they are just kind of, again, as I mentioned, slowly dissecting, but, again, going for those short passes where usually Dawson McCleary is not too shy to at least throw the long ball as well.
In motion comes Vitae, and they'll swing it out to Johnson. Johnson, 45-50, gets a block, and down to the 48-yard line of the Fighting Bison. So short gain on the pass play, but you don't want, if it's going to net you 5 yards, you go ahead and take it.
Yeah, for Central, again, at least it's positive momentum so far.
So the Indians now will head to the huddle. And the play coming in. Looks like Adrian Reynolds will bring, not Adrian Reynolds, Nathaniel Talich will bring in the play. Talish now will operate out of the gun. He's a freshman. He'll hand it off to Goosen. Goosen wrapped up. I think the ball has come out again. I think South has it. Holy cow.
The South High, at least defense, believes it. And
And
yes, they
the
do.
Fighting Bison have the football again. Goosen, second time has fumbled it. So 2 fumbles now for the Central Indians. 2 turnovers here. And we're only into this ball game 4.5 minutes.
3 turnovers by both teams here in this first quarter.
So
Again,
don't tell me about nerves. There's
I-
so much out there on the line for these 2 teams.
and again, both teams realize that, and at least the play is reflecting that right now. Yes, the nerves are kind of getting to both of these teams.
Bardo is split to the near side again, flex bone. As Trimble will bring him up, first down and 10. He'll pitch it back this time to Dominguez. Dominguez tries to cut it back up, stacked up and dropped. Should get up to midfield. And if they give him midfield, that'll be 3 for Dominic Dominguez. 3 rushes right now, unofficially 16 yards.
Yeah, it looks like they'll give them that positive 3, so just by the 50-yard line.
So Burns, along with Bardo, will be trotting in the plays from Coach Dan Gallus tonight on the offensive side. Second down and 7, ball at the midfield stripe. Burns is split out on top, hash mark to the far side. In motion this time is Dominguez. They'll hand it off to, looks like Joe Hansen. Hansen now shouldering the load as Alex Soto went off with an injury. He will pick up, it looks like they're going to give him 4 to the 46. So it will be third down for the Fighting Bison. They need to get to the Indians' 43-yard line. So
They're going to say about 3rd and 3 right now.
Pepsi scoreboard at the 6:20 mark.
Indians
Indians in their travel white uniforms, red numerals, black outline. Yes, go ahead.
I was going to say, do want to say that good crowds on hand for both Central and South, at least well represented here.
Dominguez in motion. He'll take the handoff, cut it back inside, first down, and will drive to the Indians' 38-yard line. So give him 8 yards on that. Excuse me, if my math is right. How about, 8 yards on the run. So it will be first down and 10 for the Fighting Bison. Central 38-yard line. Burns will trot in the play to Trey Trimble. Again, Cade Burns started out the season, the sophomore, as the quarterback. Got banged up a little bit, and Trimble has stepped in, and Coach Gallus has pretty much handed him the quarterback's position.
But
Wyatt,
I would
Dominguez, and Hansen in the backfield. They'll hand it off this time to Wyatt. Wyatt feels it. He loses the football and right into the hands of Blaine Dilly. Dilly will come away with the football at the 31-yard line, and it looked like as Wyatt was coming through on the positive yardage, somebody punched the football right into the arms of Dilly.
So both teams right now showing, hey, anything you could do, I could do, as well as now both teams with 2 turnovers here in the first quarter.
So an INT for the Fighting Bison and a fumble now.
3 fumbles in total by both teams and 1 INT.
Ball right now resting on the Indians. We'll call it 32-yard line. McCleary operates out of the gun. I do believe that's Labados now in the backfield. They'll pitch it back to Labados. Cuts it up as he drifts outside. They may give him the 35. If they do, that'll give him 3 yards on the play. Carter Labados in for Kobe Goosen. Labados, again, he's a sophomore, 5'10", 163-pounder.
Not a surprising move by Coach Mike Apodaca, again, with Goosen, at least, again, maybe nerves are getting to him, but yes, again, with him having 2 straight fumbles, probably the positive thing to do for Central.
Back to pass goes McCleary. He'll hook up with Dilly at the 40 to the 44-yard line. He'll have first down yardage. So that'll be a 9-yard reception for Blaine Dilly and another first down. If I look at my stats right, I see McCleary is 5 for 5 here in the first period. 4:50 on the Pepsi scoreboard. Langley and Storbo out on top. To the near side is Dilly and Vitae. Vitae will come in motion. McCleary will pitch it back to Vitae. Vitae stops, cuts back against the grain, gets away, but Kari Wright will stop him at the 50-yard line. I thought that thing was going to bust for big yards.
Well, that goes credit also to Nico Vitae again. How many times have we called out his name throughout this season? And again, just the field, at least awareness and vision that he had there was just nothing short of spectacular.
Trips out on top for the Indians. Ball right now at the midfield stripe. Langley along with Vitae Storbo. They're split out on top. Dilly to the near side. McCleary changing things up at the line of scrimmage. Labados moves to the left of McCleary. McCleary rolls to his left, steps, throws. He hooks up with Langley. 40-yard line. Spin away. Nice move. Down to the 35-yard line of the South High Fighting Bison. 15-yard pass reception that time. Langley picking up his reception and a first down.
Again, Central right now, at least this is the furthest they've gotten down the field so far here in this contest. We'll see if they can do anything better.
Hand off to Labados, and he's stuffed right away at the line of scrimmage. Meeting him head on there was Austin White, the 6 foot, 207-pound senior. They may give him a yard. So Labados.
Yeah, I think they'll give him a friendly yard on that one.
Picks up one. Storbo now will come to the near side along with Vitae and Dilly. Labados lines up to the right of McCleary. Back to pass goes Dawson. He wants it all. Looking long for Vitae. Vitae comes down with a touchdown. Oh, what a play. 34 yards. Dawson McCleary hooking up with Nico Vitae, and it nets a 6. And the Indians on the board first. 2:57 to go here in quarter number 1.
Seems like that combination has netted a lot of points for the Central High Indians this season.
On to attempt the PAT will be Tegan Tippett. He is a sophomore. Langley to hold. Snap is back. Placement is down. Kick is up and through the uprights and good. Central 7. South nothing on the Pepsi scoreboard. We're back after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. Go Vitae drawing man coverage and had a step, and Dawson McCleary delivered a perfect spiral to the tune of 34 yards and a touchdown. Indians lead 7-0. Now with the Indians tonight, and I got to remember all of these scenarios, they lost to Rock Springs. Rock Springs has one more win than them. So the best that the Indians could do would be 7th, if I'm not mistaken.
They have opportunities for 6th, 7th, or 8th seeds. Again, it all depends on what happens with Kelly Walsh. They do own that tiebreaker there. But, again, there are a lot of scenarios where at least 4 Central can be 3, at least 6, 7, or 8 seed.
Dominguez will let the ball bounce to the end zone by Tippett, and it will be first down and 10 for the Fighting Bison with the ball on the 20-yard line.
And again, a lot needs to happen as well, too, with both of these teams. For South, again, they win and they're in, but I do believe that they would go in as a 7 seed, or at least 8 seed due to the loss with Kelly Walsh. But, again, South, if they do lose tonight, do have an opportunity to sneak in. But, again, a lot needs to happen. Again, eyes will be, at least ears will be tuned in for Kelly Walsh and at least Campbell County.
Again, Soto has yet to return Johansson at the fullback position. Again, out of the flex bone. In motion this time is Dominguez. They'll go to Hanson straight ahead. Still driving the pile forward. Wrapped up at the 25, so give Hanson 5 on the run. And it will be second down and 5. Last week we were kind of crowded up here in the booth. Do want to welcome back, even though, he's not he still sends a lot of material over to our paper, former Wyoming Tribune Eagle editor, sports editor Robert Gagliardi, who does a lot now with the Wyoming Cowboys, so very busy these days. And
he's no longer on the road since the Cowboys now back at home. Homecoming coming up this Saturday.
Sure, he really hated that trip to Hawaii, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
You didn't make it. Oh, no. They'll pitch it back to Dominguez. Dominguez will have the first down, and he will be right at the 30-yard line. So for Dominic, 5 more yards. Anyway, nice to have Robert up here. You'll be able to see his story filed in tomorrow's edition of the WTE. Got about $1.55 to go here in period number 1. Indians lead 7-0. We'll also keep you updated on Cheyenne East and Sheridan. That is going on over at the Okie Blanchard Sports Complex.
With all Class 4A, again, a lot of things are, at least nothing is set in stone right now other than the only set piece is Laramie. We know they will be the 5 seed.
Hanson, the lone back in the backfield, and Trimble call his own number. They'll say it was 3rd down and short, so Trimble will have the first down. And he will punch it up. Looks like they will give him the 33, so we'll give him 3 yards on the play. So the one time that Trimble has carried it, he'll net the first down for the South High Fighting Bison. You know, I almost say it's the kiss of death sometimes, but it has been a good moving first quarter, even with the 4 turnovers.
Yeah, it certainly has gone by fast. At least, again, with South, again, being that running team, killing a lot of time off the clock.
Hanson will go absolutely nowhere as he was wrapped up. He might have struggled for a yard. We'll see if they give him one. And I think they're going to give him the line of scrimmage. So it will be 2nd down and 10 for the Fighting Bison. Absolutely gorgeous night. Can you believe it? Here we are in the regular season finale.
A little windy out there.
Well, the breeze coming out of the northwest tonight, but again, it's 10 to 15 miles an hour is nothing really spectacular. Again, sweater weather tonight. It's not excessively cold. Again, both the central crowd and the south crowd here out in full force supporting their teams. 2nd down and 10 for the Fighting Bison. Hanson runs into a brick wall again. He is wrapped up, brought down by Tanner Martin, and give him 1 on that run.
I think that might be the last play of the first quarter.
As we are winding down, tick, tick, tick. So after 1 period of play, and I think that's what Coach Gallus is going to do, he's going to want Trey Trimble to come on over to the sidelines. After 1, Central leads 7-0 over the Fighting Bison. 3rd down and 9 when we come back after these words right here on 1480 KRAE. Proetti, Nick Proetti, along with you on this Friday Night Lights here from South High. Fighting Bison with the football. 3rd down and 9 as we open up quarter number 2. Again, they'll be going in a northerly south direction on this field. They'll pitch it back quickly into the hands of Dominguez. Dominguez tries to get the outside, and there's going to be a flag as Dominguez bumped into one of his blockers and is dropped at the 39 with forward progress. Hold the phone. Flag on the play.
Interesting to see what the call is here, at least on that.
Well, first off, they were pointing towards Central. Now it's going to be against the Indians. So give Dominguez 5 yards on the run and an additional 5. That'll be enough for the first down.
And what my at least initial reaction was a face mask penalty, and that's exactly what it was. I do want to pass along at least a few scores right now. Number 1, Natrona on the road at Rock Springs does lead Rock Springs 21-0. That's in the first quarter.
No surprise.
Thunder Basin leading Laramie in Gillette 9-0 first quarter there.
All right, we haven't got anything yet out of the Okie Blanchard Sports.
We do. Number 4, Sheridan is leading Cheyenne East 7-0. That is also 2 in the first quarter.
So Sheridan on top of the T-Birds 7-0 quarter number 1. Here it's quarter 2. South High with the football on their own 44-yard line after getting the first down via penalty. Again, operating on the flex bone is Trimble. Trimble now calls timeout. Doesn't like the defensive alignment, so he'll call a quick timeout, head over to the sidelines. Pepsi scoreboard stopped with 11:42 to go here in quarter number 2. It's Central 7, South nothing. Back after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. Timeout burned by Cheyenne South. Wow. We'll keep it here as Garcia basically stopped as he was in motion. He was tiptoeing basically in the backfield. He stopped. He looked at Trimble, and then all of a sudden Dan Gallus was calling timeout. He was granted the timeout. So I don't know what South is looking for from Cheyenne Central. But they're regrouping again.
But it seems, again, for South, it looks like a little confusion out there on the play calling, or at least trying to get movement. But, again, burning 2 timeouts that could be crucial here in this first half. We'll see how it kind of plays out. But, again, you also, too, heard a little fan, at least on the South side, fans not too happy with that, at least back-to-back decisions.
So it is first down and 10 with the ball right now resting on the 44-yard line of the Fighting Bison. Again, they'll operate out of the flex bone, Tremble under center. This time in motion comes Dominguez. They'll pitch it back to Dominguez. Dominic cuts it up. 50-yard line and into Central Territory. He's pushed forward to the 45. That should be more than enough for the first down. We'll give him 11.
For a Bison first down.
So in Central Territory at the 45. And the Fighting Bison again. Moving the football well, got to hold on to it.
Yeah, this is kind of the same position, at least, of what we saw before the last fumble by South High. They got around to the midfield and then just coughed it up. So hopefully what Central did, at least learning from their mistakes, getting points on the board, South can do that right here, right now.
Hunter Scott split to the near side for Cheyenne South. In motion this time. Is that Garcia? Garcia runs into... Looks like he ran right into Langley. Check that was Dominguez. Dominguez on the gainer will pick up 5 to the 40-yard line. Surprisingly enough, we haven't called out Wyatt Garcia's number enough. He's another one of those scat backs out of the halfback position.
Yeah, but you have plenty of opportunities, or at least different personnel for South to choose from. And again, that does include Trey Trimble as well, where he's had a few opportunities. So, I mean, that's definitely at least a benefit for South, where you have no one really gets spotlighted of who's going to be carrying the ball.
Kobe Bardo split out on top to the far side. In motion this time is Garcia. They'll pitch it back to Dominguez. Dominguez, nowhere to go. Matter of fact, dropped at the line of scrimmage. Langley initially on the hit, as Dominguez has carried the ball, I have here unofficially, 9 times here in the first half.
Crucial
Coming up on the 10-minute mark.
Crucial third down right now for South, 3rd and 5 to go.
Burns will run the play in from the side. South sitting right now on the Central 40-yard line. Need to get in between the 35, 36 for that first down. Burns will split to the near side. Hash mark to the near side. In motion is Garcia. It'll be Triple calling his own number. First down. Driving forward. Down to the 30-yard line. And give Trey 10 yards on the run. First down and 10 for the Fighting Bison. Looking to answer back on the Central touchdown.
Again, driving at least right now for South, this is furthest they've been, at least downfield in this contest. So again, positive movement right now for the South High Fighting Bison. Again, key is they need to cash in.
Tremble 5'10", 208, and a senior, so he's kind of a load to bring down himself. In honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, you can see a lot of the South youngsters, if you're watching the game, wearing the pink tape tonight.
And same with South, or at least, Central, a few of those players as well, too.
First down and 10. Garcia in motion. It'll be Tremble calling his own number again. Tremble stumbles down to the 26-yard line, and he'll pick up 4. Going over the left side of Griffin, Blasky, and Jace Packard.
And again, this entire drive has been nothing but runs, obviously, again, with Trey throwing that one INT earlier in the contest. Again, not saying that they're a little hesitant, but it's showing that they're going to go back to what it's kind of the true and blue, at least, method of the Fighting Bison. Again, just run and pound the ball up the middle against the Central High defense.
Well, he threw 4 times last week against Campbell County. Matter of fact, he was 4 for 4. Technically, he's still perfect. I mean, he just threw into the wrong jersey color this week. And we got a whistle before the play unfolds. Delay of game against Cheyenne South. So South will be marched back to about the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, definitely.
Be second down 11 at the 31.
Definitely something for South High you did not want there. Again, you have all this positive momentum going forward. Again, to have a careless penalty like that, not good.
Well, when you get a delay of game penalty, you can't so much blame that on the unit out there. It's the play coming in and taking a long time to get to the quarterback. Now they're ready to rock and roll. They'll pitch it back this time. That is Garcia. Garcia down past the 25-yard line to the 23, and it'll be third down and short for Cheyenne South. So give Wyatt on the run about 8 yards. And again, no doubt, even though we were watching earlier on the field goal side, that Silva capable of hitting from this distance, wind behind him. But I would venture to say, we're talking, hey, we're not playing for 3 tonight. We're going to definitely go all the way.
Going to be a little aggressive tonight.
And another whistle. Offside on Cheyenne Central, so that'll be an automatic first down for the Fighting Bison.
Result in a Bison first down.
So the Fighting Bison now will have the football on the Indians' 18-yard line. We're at the 7:42 mark here in the Pepsi scoreboard here in the first half.
In Central, for the at least Indians, definitely, again, you don't want to help out this South High team who's already at least struggling to get down the field so far. Right now, again, helping them out with that penalty.
So first down and 10 for the Fighting Bison. It'll be Trimble calling his own number again. 15-yard line. Give him 3 on the play.
Tremble on the carry. Second down Bison.
And for the Fighting Bison,
It looks like
they will
timeout.
have a chance to regroup because the Indians have called a timeout. 7:17 to go here in the first half. Indians 7, Fighting Bison nothing. Back after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. Well, the South High Fighting Bison doing this drive without the services of Alex Soto, went down on the first play offensively for Cheyenne South. He's still on the sidelines. As a matter of fact, we can see him standing around the 40-yard line trying to stretch it out. Don't know if it's a ankle or, a calf problem. Mascarenas is now in the backfield at the fullback position. In motion this time is Dominguez. They'll hand it off to Michael Mascarenas. He will cut off tackle and drive down near the 6, maybe the 7-yard line. We'll see what he has. It looks like the 7, and that'll be enough for the first down. So
And
give
for
them
South-
7 yards on the run.
And for South, it's their first time tonight, first and goal.
So for the Fighting Bison, first down and goal. Garcia on the wing to the near side. Dominguez out on top, and Mascarenas at the fullback position. He'll have the football. This time breaks one tackle and then is driven back. Let's see what I think they may give him.
Second down by
They might give him 1 positive yard.
I don't think so. I think
Maybe.
they're
It
going to give
looks
him the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
So it will be second down and goal from the Indians' 7-yard line. Absolutely gorgeous night here. Take a look outside in the sky. See the moon shining. A cloudless night here in Cheyenne.
It's a lot better than what we experienced last weekend.
Stars are on the field right now, Central and Cheyenne South. Second down and goal. Trimble pitches it back to Dominguez. Dominguez is hit hard by Langley. Gets inside the 5 and down to the 4. 3 yards for Dominguez. Third down and goal.
Yeah, he certainly got a licking hit, at least against him, but he got up right quickly. So, again, at least not to worry that at least he can handle those hits, which is good to know.
I have him now 10 carries here in the first half. 5:35 to go. Ball on the 4-yard line. Third down and goal for the Fighting Bison. Hand off. No, Trimble called his own number. He'll drive forward. He'll be short of the end zone. They may give him the 2.
Tremble on the carry.
Alex Trimble to the 2, and it's fourth down and goal.
And I think the smart thing here, obviously, we're talking field goal, but, or at least as we mentioned earlier, I think, obviously, again, it's do or die for both teams. You got to be aggressive on this one and go for it.
Coming up on 5 minutes to go here in the first half.
And I think it's a no-brainer, right? Again, final regular season, this is for your chance to get into the playoffs.
Right.
Absolutely, you have to go for this.
So Garcia and Scott will split out on top. Mascarenas alone back in the backfield. They'll pitch it off to Dominguez. Dominguez tries to sweep outside, cuts it back against the grain, and runs into a Cheyenne tackler who will dump him at the 5, and Central will get the football. South will give it back on turning it over on downs, so it will be first down and 10 for the Indians, but deep in their own backyard.
Again, going for that classic pitch play there by South High, but Central was reading that just to a T. They saw that coming well before it was ever snapped.
Well, Central strung it out nicely, and again, to the corners there, they strung it out, and they forced Dominguez to cut back in, and when he cut back in, he ran right into a tackle.
But I mean,
from
credit though to that Central defense where they were struggling this whole drive against South, obviously, who only does run. Again, when you had to at least that necessary play, that necessary stop for Central, you got it.
So McCleary will bring out the War Tribe offense. First down and 10 at their own 5. He's back to pass. He's looking long. He wants it big time. Hold everything. It will be incomplete. Trying to hook up, I think, with Langley, and Langley kind of pulled up lame as he was being guarded by KRAE Wright. And then Langley having a hard time getting off the turf right now. He was holding the lower portion of his back. So I would think in that part of the back area must have got a spasm.
Yeah, as he's lying on the at least turf right now, personnel and Coach Mike Apodaca running out onto the field.
Well, he tried to run off the field, and basically he just couldn't do it. He just came down to a grinding halt. He was down around the 35-yard line.
If he does have those kind of muscle spasms, yeah, that is kind of a little debilitating for a few seconds, but he is back up right now, walking under his own power.
So, again, he's holding his lower back, but he is walking off under his own power, and that's good to see.
Trying to stretch it out right now, get rid of that feeling.
Well, you know, too, you don't want to watch the game from the sidelines. And, again, we've seen Soto constantly here on the sidelines trying to stretch out his injury as well. So for the Indians, second down and 10 as McCleary misses for the first time tonight after throwing 7 straight, including a 34-yard touchdown pass. operates out of the gun from his own end zone. Low snap, he fumbles it, picks it up, fires, got a man, crossed the way. That's Dilly. Dilly will be wrapped up, corralled at the 12. So it will be 3rd down and 3.
Way to turn, at least for Dawson McCleary, something that could have turned into very disastrous as he dropped that ball there in the end zone, but was smart enough to pick it up and then find an open receiver for a positive gain.
3rd down for the Indians. Needed to get to their own 15-yard line. Trips to the near side. Hash mark to the far side are the Indians. Storbo will switch places with Vite, and then they'll switch back again. Storbo will be flanked to the near side. Low snap again, rolling to his left is McCleary. Rolling under a heavy rush, escapes from one would-be tackler, gets away from another one, steps, throws, got a man, incomplete as he was trying to come back for Storbo.
Nearly picked off by South. Though.
Well, and also he threw behind Brady, so it'll be incomplete. Again, trying to come back across his body to hit Storbo. So it'll be 4th down. You would think South should come away with great field position. 3:34 to go. They only have one timeout left. Vite will punt for Cheyenne Central. Vite likes to do
the old rugby kick.
The old rugby type kick. Not a fan of it. Back deep for the Bison is Wilkin. Wilkin. And there's going to be a flag right there. It's picked up by Labados. It's going to come back. He will score. No, he will stop at the 5, knowing that there is a flag, and it will be whistled against Cheyenne Central. You have to allow at least Wilkin to catch the ball.
Again, not a smart idea there by Central. In the heat of the moment, you kind of forgive them, but at least at this point in time, it was a careless play by Central, and it's going to be a positive game for South High.
So it's a personal foul with the interference. So they have it marked at the 45 of Central. This is going to be a major, and it'll take it down to the Indians' 30-yard line. So before halftime, South again with a chance to knot up the score.
And again, getting all these opportunities from Central High, you got the stop on defense. Now, again, with the penalty, now within heavy into Central High's at least side of the field, they need to cash in. They need points on the board.
Bardo split to the near side. Again, flex bone behind Tremble. Ball on the Indians' 30-yard line. Garcia in motion. They'll go to the Tremble, call his own number on the belly, and he will move it forward to the 26-27. We'll see the official spot. Looks like the 27, so 3 for Trimble on his 5th carry of the night. Check that, his 6th carry on the night.
Be interested to see, again, those 2 timeouts called by South, if they will affect the South High Fighting Bison here with the possession. And, again, as time is ticking down here in the second quarter.
You got quite a bit of time, and again,
you never know. Again, will it come back to haunt them?
It's a run-to-daylight type of offense, so we'll see if it does, absolutely. This time they'll hand it off to the fullback, that is Mascanaris, and he maybe will get to 25, so we'll give him 2 on the rush.
Again, interesting here as I look at the scoreboard. It does show that South does have 2 timeouts left, so maybe it's a scoreboard error. But
it's 1 timeout. We know that. Central has 2.
Well, we thought that Laramie called 4 timeouts in that game, but
well, we've been kind of tracking it here.
Yeah,
and it's all on film, isn't it?
Yeah.
So for the Fighting Bison, they're faced with a 3rd down and 5 with the ball on the Indians' 25-yard line. Back to pass goes Trimble. Pumps and then fires. He's got a man. 1st down. Making the grab is Bardo at the 16-yard line. So a 9-yard pass play from Trimble to Bardo. So 1st down.
You got to love that.
They'll say at the 17. We'll give him 8 yards on the pass play.
Got to love that from Trey Trimble again. Just a quick strike downfield. Saw the short yardage. Again, open field. Oh.
He looked left and then he went right. My bad. So, again, he looked left, went right, and there was Bardo wide open.
as you finish for cutting me off there.
Well, I was trying to get in good position here. First down for the Fighting Bison. They'll pitch it back to Dominguez. Dominguez cuts it back inside and will stumble his way down to the 10.
Dominguez on the carry.
7 yards for Dominic Dominguez. And it will be a Fighting Bison second down call. 2nd and 3. Got about $1:25 to go. Now time becomes very important.
Yeah,
now for
something to
Fighting
keep an
Bison.
eye on right now for South. But again, not really hurrying to the line. They're taking their time, trying to get as much off as they can, but also score it within that limit.
Hunter Scott is split to the near side. Second down for South. They'll come back on the counter this time to Garcia. Garcia straight ahead. And he'll be short of the first down to the 8, so Wyatt picks up a couple on the play.
And there will be a timeout called.
And the Fighting Bison will exercise their last timeout with 52.5 seconds to go. Central 7, South nothing. We will be back after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. So much for joining us on a Friday night as it's South and Central. Win, you're in. And both teams playing like they want to get in. It started out slow, but now they are really going after each other.
And as I look at the scoreboard for Kelly Walsh, they are up now 17-0 over Campbell County. So, yes, the heat is on for both teams to win tonight.
Third down and short for the Fighting Bison at the 7. Trimble back to pass. Steps, throws into the end zone, incomplete. And it will be 4th down.
Trimble's pass ball's incomplete.
Trying to hook up that time, I do believe, with Garcia. Check that, Dominguez. So for the Fighting Bison, 4th down.
Another crucial 4th down for South.
Ball on the 9. They need to get to the 7.
And in this, at least in this situation for South, obviously, yes, it looks like they're going to go for the field goal again, just get points on the board.
Pedro Silva looks like it's going to be out of the hole to Wilkin. The senior puts a foot into it. It looks long enough, and it is good.
Silva's field goal attempt.
So Silva hits from 25 yards out, and the Fighting Bison on the board with 43.5 seconds left. It's Central 7, South 3. We're back after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. Very critical there that South put some points on the board. They do get the football to start the second half. So, at least head into the locker room with a little momentum.
And again, at that 4th down, you would think you would be a little bit aggressive trying to tie up this ball game. But, yes, it is a matter of just getting points on at least some sort of positive momentum heading into halftime without being shut out. It made sense for South. And, again, right now with Kelly Walsh leading Campbell County for both teams, again, there isn't looking like there's going to be that loser out option for both South and Central, where if Kelly Walsh were to lose, then they would be fortunate to at least both be in. So,
but also, too, you got to credit Coach Gallus. The credit goes to him, trusting his field goal unit, also showing the confidence in his defensive unit as well. Ready to kick it off will be Silva. Back deep is Vite, along with Langley. Good to see Langley back in the lineup. They'll keep it low on the ground. And Goosen will let it go out of bounds.
which will result in a penalty.
which will mean the Indians will get the ball. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's at the 35 here in
First down, Indians.
in high school.
We'll agree with you on that one.
I just want to make sure, the old guy kind of, they got different rule changes every year in high school.
Guess what? It will be on the 35.
Whoa.
So pat yourself on the back for that one.
1 for 1 tonight. First down at 10. Hey, this is a lot of time still for the Indians too. They are a quick strike offense.
Especially with the arm of Dawson McCleary. If he finds Vitae or some open receiver downfield, he will target them. And again, we've seen them score pretty fast with a few seconds remaining.
Out of the gun, McCleary fires across. It dropped by Dilly. Hit him in the wrong place, hit him in the hands, and that will be incomplete.
Just going in for that quick out route to at least get some positive yards and stop the clock there, but it looked like he took his eye off the ball just very quickly.
Well, McCleary has some great receivers in Dilly, in Vitae, in Langley, where he can throw those little flares and then come back and let them get all the yardage. On the draw, they'll give it to Bartle. Bartle, big hole to midfield. 15-yard gain. For Lobatos, that is. So Carter Lobatos with a 15-yard run, and it will be first down for the Indians. They're up quickly to the football as the chains move. Midfield stripe, 35 and a half seconds to go. McCleary back to pass, this time to Dilly. Dilly, 45, and steps out of bounds. I would say at the 43, so 7 yards on the pass play from McCleary to Dilly.
Yeah, for Dilly again, smart recognition, again, trying to get out of bounds, saving 25 seconds on at least till halftime here.
Well, and then again, too, you would try to put stock in your kicker in Tippett's to get it somewhere. I would venture to say you're going to need to get it somewhere around the 20 to 25.
Yeah.
I think once you get to the 25, you're going to get a little out of the sophomore's range. First down and 10. Back to pass goes McCleary. McCleary, plenty of time. Steps, throws, got a man. And that's going to be caught by Vitae. Vitae wide open on the sidelines at the 25-yard line. So a 25-yard pass play. From the 43, 18-yard pass play.
McCleary got very lucky on that pass play there. It looked like a South High defender was right there on his backside. It almost looked like it almost got a hand as he was throwing forward.
Fourth reception for Vitae on the night. First down and 10, ball on the Fighting Bison 25-yard line. McCleary rolling to his right. Plenty of time, steps, throws, picked off! Down the sidelines, still on his feet. 50, 40, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Touchdown, Cheyenne South. Curry White picking it off. And going, about 95 yards? Does that sound about right?
That looks
90 yards on that interception return. Curry White stepped in front, picked it off, and was on a foot race down the sideline. South, with 2 seconds to go, takes the lead, 9-7, no flags down.
What a phenomenal play right there just in the first half by South High. Talk about a momentum shift in the favor of the South High Fighting Bison.
South will now set up in this. Are they going to go for 2 or are they going to set up for 1?
Looks like a little confusion right now.
They don't bring the kicking tee out.
But they do have a setup as if they're going for the field goal right now.
Now they will set it up as Silva. Hold everything. We've got a discussion around the 5-yard line. Oh my, this crowd went crazy on that 90-yard run. If anybody looked like they were going to get him, was around midfield.
Yeah, there was at least 2 trailing central defenders right behind him.
But do I see a flag here in midfield?
I do as well. But I don't think, again, from the PA, we understood that the touchdown was confirmed.
Is that an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty?
I think so.
And that will be marked off.
That will be marked off on the
kickoff.
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 Yeah.
With 2.2 seconds to go. So the flag still
on the field.
lays at the 49-yard line. It will be Pedro Silva out of the hold of Wilkin to boot the PAT. Again, the laundry still on the floor here at South High.
And now we'll get underway with the play.
So the point after touchdown, snap is back, placement is down, kick through the uprights, and good. South 10, Central 7. And we will be back after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. Well, with 2.2 seconds left, South has been penalized 15 yards. They will kick off from their 25.
And didn't even see where that unsportsmanlike conduct.
It was on the bench.
Yeah, absolutely.
They
but
pointed
did not,
towards the bench.
Yeah, but at least as we were caught up of that monstrous just INT return for a touchdown by South High, again, did not see who or what caused that penalty flag to be thrown. Again, was thrown around midfield.
It was a great anticipation by KRAE White. Again, you talk about, and you hear this said, the secondary reading the quarterback's eyes. Well, White was on his receiver, and then as McCleary rolled to his right, stepped and threw. White knew who he was going to, stepped right in front of it, and he was off to the races. 90 yards, and the PAT put South on top, 10-7. 2.2 seconds left. Silva will pooch it, and it'll pick up by Labados. Labados breaks free down to the 35-yard line, but that will end the first half. Entertainment galore, especially for South High, over the last 3 minutes of the second quarter. We have reached the intermission, and it is the Fighting Bison, who are 2-6 on the season. 10, the Cheyenne Central Indians, who are 2-6 on the season. 7, the winner will be participating in postseason action coming up next weekend. Again, 10-7 our score at the intermission. We're back after this 2-minute timeout on 14. Welcome back to Fighting Bison Stadium. Larry Proetti along with son Nick Proetti. Exciting finish to the first half, and who would have thunk it? Again, Central moving downfield. Again, probably needing about 5-10 more yards for a Tippett's field goal possibility. Dawson McCleary getting greedy, wanted to go in the end zone. KRAE Wright eyeing him all the way, in addition to keeping up with his receiver.
Absolutely.
And then 90 yards for the score. Just PAT puts South High in front.
Talk about a swing of momentum there again, where South was at least trying to get, at least they did get the field goal again, positive, at least getting points heading into half, where it looked like it was going to be 7-3 in favor of Central. Again, what a turnaround though. Again, 90 yards, INT touchdown by Cheyenne South. Now lead at half, 10-7. I mean, especially here at homecoming, a lot of emotions. Again, it is win and you're in for both teams, Central or South, and it's going to have to be that way, especially with Kelly Walsh still at least leading Campbell County up there in Gillette. But right now, you wanted action, you wanted a fun game. This has been, so far this first half has been very entertaining. A little slow to the start of the first half, as we saw, again, both teams answering back with little turnovers of their own, with at least South, at least with the one INT fumble, Central with the both fumbles by Colby Goosen. But overall, got the game jitters out of them, nervousness out, and here we are, both teams fighting and scrapping right now. Exciting. I'm looking forward to the second half.
Yeah, second half will be coming up in about 22 minutes. Again, it is homecoming, and again, being entertained right now by the South High Fighting Bison marching band. So, we've said it. We've set up the scenarios, but let's go ahead and let's give the pinball wizard crown to Casper Kelly-Walsh. They're going to win.
Yeah, they are leading at last I checked again, 21-0. That was in the first quarter. Again, we'll get to those scores, but they are leading against Rock Springs.
Let's go ahead with the premise that KW is going to win, Rock Springs will lose. Rock Springs has 3 wins. If the Fighting Bison win and KW wins, Fighting Bison will be the number 7 seed, and Rock Springs will go all the way down to the number 8 seed. Kelly Walsh will be number 6 because KW beat.
Due to the head-to-head, at least between all three of those teams.
KW beat South, and South beat Rock Springs. Scenario 2, if Central wins, and KW is winning right now at Campbell County, for the Indians, they lost to Rock Springs,
but they
beat Kelly Walsh. So they will be a number 7 seed. So right now we're looking at South and Central teams. The best they can do as far as seeding is concerned,
as of what the scores,
seventh.
Yeah. Again, it's going to be unfortunate because for both teams to both be in, Kelly Walsh wouldn't need to be losing to Campbell County, and it's not looking like it's going to happen up there in the Razor City. But right now, whoever, again, both teams are playing the way that they understand that they both need to win this game, and they need it to win badly. Again, with the level of play that we're seeing, and again, the close score as South is leading 10-7 here at halftime.
So again, the winner of this game will end up being on the road next week.
But will it be at Natrona? Will it be at
Thunder Basin?
Thunder Basin. It could also, too, maybe for whatever reason, Sheridan. Sheridan does that.
Sheridan,
I do believe
best Sheridan could do is number 3, since they lost to both Thunder Basin and Natrona. So the best they can do by beating East tonight would be the number 3 seed. We know East will be hosting.
Again, a lot of those are muddled, and it could come down to coin flips. But again, we'll know the true story at least coming up on Monday.
We know Sheridan has 2 losses.
Yeah,
they lost to Thunder Basin and lost to Natrona. If East loses to Sheridan would be number 3, East would be number 4.
I'm just saying with Natrona as well, if they were to lose and Thunder Basin as well to lose, I do believe that would also come down to a coin flip.
But I think the last we looked at, they were well in hand in their 2 ball games, respectively.
Just if one of those teams has a miraculous comeback,
I'm going to work with you on this one. Tonight's game being brought to you by Terrell Honda, Baskin-Robbins, Cheyenne State Bank, Merritt Plumbing Heating, Chick-fil-A, Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service and Gill Window Company, Best Western Plus, Frontier Inn, Little Philly, Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service, Platte Valley Bank, Taco John's, Mars Plumbing and Heating, First Tier Bank, Big Apple Bagels, and the Cheyenne Stampede. Again, Pepsi scoreboard at the intermission showing the South High Fighting Bison on homecoming tonight, leading 10-7 over Cheyenne Central. Also, we want to thank Pepsi of Cheyenne sponsoring our Pepsi scoreboard, Medicap Pharmacy, Key of Cheyenne, Lennox Auto Body, the Bread Basket Bakery, First Education Federal Credit Union, Fat Boys Tire and Auto, B&B Appliance and TV, Capital Lumber Company, Halliday Motors, and MHP McGee, Hearn, and Pies. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll take a look at some of the first half stats, and we'll be back after these words. 2 minutes right here on 1480 KRAE. And welcome back to halftime here at South High, where the Fighting Bison lead at the intermission 10-7. Looking at some of the numbers here in the first half, again, all my numbers unofficial. We see Dawson McCleary for Cheyenne Central, not bad numbers in the first half. He was 10 of 13. Check that, 10 of 14 with an interception, which was returned for 90 yards from one KRAE White. 112 yards. He's also thrown for a touchdown, 34 yards, that being to Nico Vite. Looking at those that have caught the football, Blaine Dilly, again, all unofficial stats here. Blaine Dilly, 3 receptions for 23. Vite, 4 for 34. Langley has 2 caught for 27. Johnson, who was in, matter of fact, Andrew Johnson has 1 for 5 yards on the evening. Rushing the football has not been one of their strong suits this evening. 3 yards for Kobe Goosen, who's also fumbled twice for Cheyenne Central. Nico Vite has towed it 1 time for 6. And Labatos, who came in place of Kobe Goosen, 3 rushes for 19 yards. So if you add up the numbers there rushing-wise, 25, 28 yards to go with 112 yards passing. Not a lot of yardage, 140 yards in the first half for Cheyenne Central. We'll take a 2-minute timeout. We'll come back, and we'll get you caught up on the stats for the South High Fighting Bison after these words on 1480 KRAE. At Fighting Bison Stadium, 10-7 intermission score on homecoming for the Fighting Bison. And again, 3 turnovers for Cheyenne Central in the first half, 2 for the Fighting Bison. A fumble and interception. Trey Trimble is 1, 2, and 1 for this evening. 8 yards only passing, 1 reception to Kobe Bardo. Towing the load here, though, has been Dominic Dominguez, 12 rushes for 56 yards for the Fighting Bison. Garcia has 10 on 2 attempts. Soto, the lone carry tonight before he came out limping. He has 4 yards. 22 yards for Trey Trimble on 6 attempts. 10 yards for Hansen as he came in. And Michael Mascarenas came in with 3 rushes for 9 yards. So if you add up the numbers here for the South High Fighting Bison, as we give you 70, 92, 102, 111 yards on the ground for the Fighting Bison, 8 yards in the air, so 119. So again, pretty much even as far as numbers are concerned, but the one big number was 90 yards the opposite way.
90 yards
for
that
KRAE.
90 yards that equated to 6 points in favor of Cheyenne South. Absolutely.
And again, both teams are moving the football. Let's not take anything away. They're moving the football, but they're finding ways to
and again, it
was
almost for Central and South. Again, it was just a filling out process there in the first kind of possessions for both teams. But yes, again, Central at least getting their points on the board by a touchdown. Again, South at least driving it down, did stall out one time again with the 4th down, unable to convert it there at least at the goal line, but they get back down, get a field goal, and then at least again with the INT reception, where again we stand right now, South 10. Central 7.
Take a 2-minute timeout. Nick's going to come back. He's got the scoreboard when we return right here on 1480 KRAE.
You just heard there, at least with the Cheyenne Stampede, do want to let people, at least notify people that the Cheyenne Stampede are in action coming up tonight as they have a 3-game series up in Casper taking on the Bobcats. Both teams looking for their first win on the season in Western States Hockey League. Scores from Class 4A, at least happening around the state, will go to Rock Springs, where the Tigers are trailing Natrona County 35-0. That is in the second quarter. Thunder Basin at least taking on hosting Laramie Plainsman. Thunder Basin does lead 23-0. That is also 2 in the second quarter. Sheridan leading East over there at Okie Blanchard Sports Complex 14-0. That has moved into third. And Kelly Walsh up in Gillette taking on Campbell County, leading 31-0. That is in the second quarter. Also, two few other scores to pass along right now in NLCS action with the Milwaukee Brewers and LA Dodgers. Bottom of the first, Milwaukee leads 4-1. in that contest. We'll take a 2-minute timeout, come back, talk about a few other scores coming up this weekend right here on 1480 KRAE.
We are back at Fighting Bison Stadium. Larry Perotti along with Nick Perotti. And again, the 14-0 score between East and Sheridan concerns me a little bit as they move now into the third quarter.
Yeah, it certainly does. Sorry, I'm trying to do other things here as we, again, putting on that presentation on YouTube and Periscope. Thank you to all who do tune in on the visual side and also to who do tune in on the radio side, 1480 AM, 101.1 FM in the Cheyenne area, and also to 1480KRAE.com.
Oh, anyway, again, I am concerned with that 14-0 score, especially Sheridan shutting out the Thunderbirds. However, there's still a lot of football game left over there at the Oakey Blanchard Sports Complex. Now, we'll tell you for sure.
It's a surprising, at least for me, seeing that score.
That
It is a little surprising, but Sheridan, again, still are a talented bunch. Again, cannot disrespect that team. Again, defending 4A state champions. They've had their bumps through at least the road in Class 4A this season, but again, proving that they are still, I guess what you can say, an elite team and taking it to Eastside Thunderbirds across town.
Well, Thunderbirds were asked earlier this season to rally back against Steve Harshman's Toronto Mustangs, so hopefully the T-Birds can do that over at the Oakey Blanchard Sports Complex. Here, we got a barn burner, and again, the final 24 minutes, well, we thought there was nerves in the first quarter with both these teams. Imagine what it's going to be like now for the final 24 minutes, and only a 3-point margin in favor of South.
I don't really think nerves play into it. Again, you got that out of the way where I think those 4 turnovers by both teams there early in the first quarter, I think that was the nerves. And now as both teams finding their strides, finding their offenses, defenses, trying to get those crucial stops. Again, they're not scoreboard watching. There is no way to see what is going on across town, what's going on up in Gillette with Kelly Walsh. They're going to focus on their ball. I wouldn't doubt Dan Gallus and also to head coach Mike Apodaca for Central. They're saying, hey, focus. We need a win. Again, there is no other option. They're not saying, hey, we have an option with losing. No, I think both head coaches are saying, no, hey, we got to win. We need this one to get into the playoffs.
All right, the second half will be back with you right here on 1480 KRAE after the 60-second timeout. As we're back to live action, as Tippett will boot it into the end zone, and the Cheyenne South Fighting Bison will have the football to open up the third quarter. It will be on their own 20-yard line. Welcome once again to our Friday Night Lights broadcast, 1480 KRAE. Thank you again to all of our wonderful sponsors for making it possible. Again, 5 ways you can hear us and see us. You can hear us on the audio side, 1480 KRAE, 101.1 FM, 1480KRAE.com, Periscope via Twitter, and 1480 KRAE in the search engine on YouTube. We are back to business. First down and 10 for the Fighting Bison, ball on their own 20-yard line as we are waiting for the signal to get the play underway.
As there's a lot of confusion right now as they're waiting for personnel for South High.
That's Bardo arriving late. First down and 10, ball on the 20-yard line. In motion is Dominguez. They'll pitch it back to Dominguez, and Dominguez goes nowhere. He's wrapped up. It was slow in developing as they tried to sweep outside again with Dominic, and it will be second down and 10 for the Fighting Bison. Again, Cade Burns, along with Bardo, have been running in the plays back and forth for Dan Gallis' squad. Burns will split to the near side. Hash mark to the far side as they'll line it up on a second down and 10 call. Trimble over center. This time we'll give it off to Garcia. Garcia straight ahead to the 30-yard line, maybe 29 for sure.
Credit to that offensive line for South. Again, we haven't mentioned that tonight. Again, getting those holes, especially for those at least up-the-gut runs that South has been producing tonight.
So it'll be third down and 1 for the Fighting Bison. Garcia picking up 9 on the run for Cheyenne South. Garcia will line up on the wing to the near side. This time they'll hand it off to Dominguez. Dominguez with the first down, still on his feet, as he will drive to the 32-yard line and pick up 3. So the Fighting Bison on their initial drive here in the second half will pick up a first down.
Again, not losing a stride for South High, especially that offensive unit. Just, again, going back to what they have been known to do this entire season. Again, just drive and drive against the Central High defense. That is, for what we've seen, at least in contests with the Central High Indians, they've struggled at least preventing that run.
Well, they want to keep your defense on the field, that's for sure. In motion this time is Garcia. Garcia, 35, 40, still on his feet, down to the 44-yard line. Nice run that time by Wyatt Garcia, as he will pick up, looks like 12 on that run. And the Fighting Bison again on the march. Again, with this, pretty much you are very rarely going to see them throw the football. They throw it just because they want to throw it. But
when they see opportunities, again, Trey Trimble, he's thrown twice tonight. Again, one was an INT, but again, you go back to last week, or at least last Friday. Again, he was 4 for 4 in the entire contest.
Garcia again gets his number called. Gets a block from Dominguez, and he'll be pushed out of bounds. We'll see where he will be knocked out at the 47, so give 3 for Garcia. Again, we saw a lot of Dominic Dominguez in the first half. Now we're seeing the second of the fresher backs, Wyatt Garcia, who did not toe the load that much.
And again, like I said, in the first half for South, you have that benefit of, again, no one to really spotlight for running the ball. You have those multiple weapons, those multiple entities, and again, South using it to at least a T right now to kind of confuse that Central High defense.
Again, out of the flex bone this time, Dominguez in motion, and they will go straight ahead with Mascarenas, who will be driven back maybe the line of scrimmage, if that.
They're going to about give him a yard on that.
Yeah, all right, we'll give them 1. Third down and a long 5. Needing to get down to the central 46-yard line. Ball resting at the Bison 49, just shy of the 49. Coming up on 9:05 here on the Pepsi scoreboard in quarter number 3. Third down call for the Fighting Bison. Garcia in motion. They'll pitch it back to Garcia. He's caught up in the backfield and dropped for a loss. Oh, my. Big stop that time by one Carter Labatos. And that will drop them for a loss of 4. And it'll be 4th down. So the drive is snuffed out for the Fighting Bison.
Yeah, and this will be the second punt of the night for both teams.
Trimble will boot it away for Cheyenne South. The dangerous Nico Vitae. He will retreat back to around his 20-yard line. Snap is back. Trimble. End over ender. Vitae will come up with slides and makes the grab at the 30-yard line. First down and 10. Well, they'll say, let's see if it's a 29 now. They'll switch out footballs and officially mark it. They'll say the knees were down at the 29, so it'll be first down and 10 for Cheyenne Central. Dawson McCleary, the junior quarterback, will lead the offensive attack. Last time they were on the field offensively,
it was disastrous.
It was a pick 6.
Yeah. Again, for Dawson McCleary, you need to shake that out of your head
Actually,
and just play
before
ball.
halftime, Lobatos had a 15-yard run. But prior to that, it was a pick 6. McCleary, first down and 10. He'll hand it off. First back through. That will be, it looks like Gooson's number getting called.
Yeah, I do believe you're correct. And Goosen back in after him kind of exiting in that first half after, again, the 2 straight fumbles by Goosen.
6 yards on the run. So it will be second down and 4 for Cheyenne Central. And again, trying to mix that run to open up the pass. Trip split out on top. Central faced with a second down and 4. Ball on their own 35-yard line. McCleary back to pass. Steps, throws. He's got Dilly. Dilly, 45, and then bumped out near midfield. They'll say 49-yard line, so nice little patch, pass and run to Dilly for 14 yards. And it'll be first down and 10. Indians will send Storbo in motion. Hand it off to Goose. Goosen runs into a brick wall. Nowhere to go. No gain.
It has not been Colby Goosen's, at least night to night, as he's usually been kind of a shining star for the Central High offense. But for tonight, I mean, if anything, you credit to South High defense of just reading and containing Colby Goosen.
Dilly to the near side. You definitely have to watch for him right now. Again, McCleary likes to roll to his right. And he's back to pass. And he steps, he throws. He's got Dilly at the 45 of the Fighting Bison. That should be, it looks like a pickup of maybe 5. It was a short gainer. If they give him the 45, it will be 6. And they will do so. 6 yards to Dilly on the pass reception. Third down, and we'll say about 3.5 for the Indians. Vitae will join Dilly to the near side, trips out on top, empty backfield, out of the gun, comes McCleary. McCleary quickly changes it up at the line of scrimmage.
Try to get the hard count there, yeah, at least south to bite on that one.
And he'll call his own number. McCleary breaks one tackle, first down, and he will march it forward down to the 39-yard line. So McCleary on his first carry nets 6 yards.
Getting in that rare play, but McCleary can do that. But, again, gaining that at least crucial first down for Central.
Spotted on the south 39-yard line, first down and 10. Goosen will line up to the left. McCleary out of the gun. Trips out on top. Storbo Vitae along with Andrew Johnson. To the near side is Dilly. Back to pass. Coming back for it is Johnson. Johnson breaks free to the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Oh, what a play. Nice job by Dawson McCleary, and the rest was all done by Andrew Johnson.
He had a play that looked like it wasn't going to go far, at least, again, South defenders were close on that, but again, he found open spacing and all the way for a touchdown. Central right now on top by 3.
Second touchdown pass of the night from Dawson McCleary. First one was to Nico Vitae, this time to Andrew Johnson. And on to attempt the PAT, Tegan Tippett. And the kick is through the uprights. Good. 5:53 to go. Quarter number 3. Central 14 and South 10. We're back after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. Well, we said this was a quick strike offense by Cheyenne Central, where Cheyenne South wants to pound it on you. And Andrew Johnson coming back again on the flare outside to him. And again, yards after the catch. Well, you know, guys like Jerry Rice in their lifetime made a living off of plays similar to that. And a nice job by Johnson to go the distance. Tippett puts a big foot into it. And Wright can't come down with it. It will go into the end zone. And South will take over on their own 20-yard line, where it is first down and 10.
It's just simple enough for at least for South High. You need to answer back here, at least gain back that lead against Central High. Again, and I think for South High, for the Fighting Bison, you go back to your main core of just driving it up the middle. Again, how many times have we seen Garcia Trimble go straight up the gut where that offensive line is crazy, at least creating that spacing? I think for South, you go back to what's carried you at least in the first half and go back to it.
Well,
again, these kind of sweet plays, these out, at least a little pitch plays to the out, haven't been really working so far for South.
Well, they got to answer back, so that's the bottom line. First down and 10 at the 20-yard line. Back to pass goes Trimble. In and out of the hands of Scott as he drops it, and it will be second down.
So, interested to see South there with the rare pass play.
And again, too, you know, that's one of your better receivers you want to go after. Hunter Scott, about 6'3", and he matches up with a very tall secondary for Cheyenne Central.
But again, it was a pass that was right into at least the numbers there for Hunter Scott, but again, just took his eye off the ball and dropped it.
Second down and 10. In motion is Garcia. And it'll be Trimble calling his own number, 25-yard line, so he'll net 5 yards on that run. Third down and 5 for the Fighting Bison. Pepsi scoreboard now at the 5:30 mark here in quarter number 3.
Like I said, as we were talking about this offensive presence for South High, again, what we just saw there, 5 yards gain going up the middle with Trimble. Again, go back to that core. I think in this play as well, too, if you're Dan Gallus, call that same play. Go straight up the gut and challenge these Central High defenders.
Dominguez now will be on the wing to the near side. Third down and 5. In motion is Garcia. They'll hand it off to Garcia. He cuts it back up front. Spun around, and he'll be shy of the first down by about 1, excuse me. So 4 yards on the run for Wyatt Garcia.
And we have a player down for South High, and he's going to get back up, though.
And that might be Garcia, who comes up limping.
He's got a little stinger there. Looks like a hip stinger coming out slowly to the sidelines.
He'll be replaced by Zane Van Kirk on fourth down. So for the Fighting Bison, the clock is running. Fourth down, and we're talking about a half yard. They may need to call a timeout here because they have spent way too much time in that huddle.
Yeah, we're getting close to that delay of game penalty.
Fourth down and short for the Fighting Bison. Trimble will give it off to Mascarenhas. He'll have the first down. Boy, what a gamble. And again, I guess you don't leave any cards on the table tonight. 4 yards on the run, that is, for Mascarenhas. And it will be first and 10.
And I think that's the right call there by Coach Dan Gallus. Again, play as if your playoff at least your playoff lives are on the line.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So first down and 10, 4:20.
Again, it's pretty much leave it all on the line, have no regrets in this contest, and again, solidify playoff spot coming up next week.
Van Kirk lined up to the near side in the wing. Trimble, first down and 10. Sends Dominguez in motion, hands it off to Dominguez. Dominguez tripped up and dropped for a yard.
And it looked like the ball came out there.
Well, he'll
but it
fall
looks like
on
they'll just,
it
yeah.
for maybe a yard. They're going to give him 1 to the 34. And it'll be second down and 9.
Again, as I'm a little zoomed in here watching on the kind of YouTube Periscope side for things, again, it looked like as he was falling down to the ground, lost the ball, at least came out. But, yeah, did at least fortunate enough to land on it.
Second down for the Fighting Bison. Again, trailing 14 to 10. Central scoring here most recently on their last possession. In motion is Dominguez. Dominguez fakes the handoff. Trimble back to pass. Looking long. Got a man as it hangs up. Burns will make the grab at the 47-yard line. So it'll be a first down for the South High Fighting Bison. Nice pass play.
Kind of a similar pass play we saw last Friday against Campbell County that led to a touchdown for Cheyenne South. Again, Trimble on that little out route, or at least the sweep play to find the open receiver downfield.
19 yards on that pass play to Burns, and it will be first and 10 in Central Territory. Just under 3 minutes to go. Ball on the 47-yard line of Cheyenne Central. Trimble out of the flex bone. Calls his own number. He will be collared up at the 48. Not horse collared, but he was grabbed around that area.
It looks like he's
dropped for a loss.
Yeah, a loss of 1.
So for Trey Trimble, he's been kind of banged up on the last couple of plays.
He's a little slow getting back to the huddle.
As Burns will run in the play. 2:20 on the Pepsi scoreboard, 14-10 our score with the South High Fighting Bison right now in Central Territory. Second down and 11. Again, Vankirk has, check that, Garcia has checked back in, so Wyatt back ready to rock and roll. He'll line up on the wing on the far side. Dominguez in motion. They'll give it off to Dominguez. He tries to cut it inside.
And he's got nowhere to
dropped
go.
right at the line of scrimmage. There was no running inside for Dominic Dominguez.
And that Central High defense right now no longer being fooled. They understand that South is coming up at the middle of them, and they're prepared.
Well, they said it was Garcia on the carry. That one was Dominguez because Garcia was on the wing on the far side. Again, they're 28-26. They're so scrunched down, those numbers, it's hard to see. So you have to check them out right away when they come out of the huddle. This time, Dominguez again lines up on the wing on the near side. Third down and long. In motion is Garcia. They'll pitch it back to Garcia. Looking for a block from Dominguez. He gets it to the 45, down and spun around at the 43-yard line. So 5 yards on the gain for Wyatt Garcia.
But it's fourth down and long.
They need to get to the Central 37-yard line.
But the question is, does South go for it here? Do they take that opportunity, or do they just punt it away? And it's looking like they're going to go for it.
Fourth down and 6 for the South High Fighting Bison. We're under a minute to play here in quarter number 3. Central 14, South 10. Trimble over center. Sends in motion Garcia. Garcia fumbles it in the backfield. Picks it up now, has a sea of white jerseys. Gets away from one wave and is dropped back at the 40. Oh my, what a loss, but there is a flag down. Hold the phone. There is a flag back on the 44-yard line.
Refs are at least pointing possession in favor of Central, however.
That could be a 17-yard loss for Garcia. It will be a procedure call against Cheyenne South. Central will get the ball back in great field position.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, what a turn of events right there for South. Again, kudos to them going for it again. As we said, hey, leave it all on the line for this contest tonight, but that turned into a very, very big negative for the South High Fighting Bison.
Central will march onto the field, first down and 10. Dilly along with Storbo to the near side. Goosen in the backfield. as Dilly will retreat to the gun.
Again, long count by Dawson McCleary trying to draw off sides, that South High front line, but
Changing up the play as well. First down and 10. Back to pass goes McCleary. Fires one out to Dilly, in and out of his hands. Dilly looked down on the ground first like he slipped, and then looked up when the ball came in and out of his hands, so it'll be incomplete and second down.
second down with 23.2 seconds left here in the third quarter.
Central trying to put away the South High Fighting Bison. This is a pesky outfit, and Central needs to get one more on the board. McCleary will give it off to Goosen. Big run that time, down to the 31-yard line and close to a first down.
And that will be the last play of the third quarter.
9 yards on the run for Kobe Goosen. And they'll say 8 as they mark him back to the 32. We've completed 3. Central marching and leading 14-10 here at South High. The final 12 minutes after this 60-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. Larry Perotti, Nick Perotti, as we are here in the press box tonight, bringing you Cheyenne Central and Cheyenne South. Win, you're in. Third down and 2 for the War Tribe. They'll now be going right to left across your radio dial, across your YouTube channel as well. They'll hand it off, fake the handoff to Goosen, rolling to his right as McCleary steps up, throws, incomplete. Storbo
And a flag down.
could not grab it. Matter of fact, he was looking to his right. The ball came back to his left. I do believe we may have the flag against South. It might be a hold. Defensive holding against Cheyenne South. Ouch.
That is not a good, at least that was not good for South High.
And they will mark it down to the 22-yard line. First down and 10 for the Indians.
Talk about being fortunate, though, if you're Central, though, on that play where, again, that receiver should have gotten that ball and had plenty of green space in front of him, but, again, taking his eye off. But, hey, from that negative, it turned into positive due to a South High penalty.
Dilly and Vitae will split out on top. To the near side is Johnson along with Storbo. First down and 10, ball on the 22, a hard count by McCleary. Then he backs off, looks over to the sidelines, and they'll reset the play.
And we're going to have a
timeout for Cheyenne Central. 11:55 to go on the Pepsi scoreboard. Just underway in quarter number 4. Indians 14, Bison 10. Back after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. After the timeout, the Central Indians offensive unit back on the field, and the South High defense back on the field.
Do want to give an update across town at East Sheridan leading 21-7. That's in the third quarter.
Boy, that's not looking pretty for the T-Birds, down by 2 scores, but at least they got on the board. Here it's 14-10. First down and 10 for the Indians as McCleary retreats to the gun. Goosen lined up to his right about a yard back. Back to pass goes McCleary. Lobs one up from the end zone. Is it no signal yet?
What they are signaling that it was a touchdown, at least in the end zone.
Dilly makes the grab,
Clary's pass complete to Dilly for an Indian touchdown.
and they're going to call it a touchdown. So it is a touchdown from 22 yards out. It's amazing. The guy that's trailing the play on the side never made
the indication.
signal.
Yeah.
So for Dilly, it's a 22-yard touchdown pass from Dawson McCleary. Tippett's on for the PAT. Placement is down. Kick is up. Through the uprights with authority and good. Indians 21. Fighting Bison 10 back after this 30-second timeout of 1480 KRAE. Well, the Indians right now, 11 minutes and 46 away from punching their ticket to the Class 4A playoffs as at least the number 7 seed.
Yeah, with that touchdown, they're kind of starting to at least close the coffin on this, at least on the South High, at least for the Fighting Bison's chances at playoffs coming up next week. Again, kudos to Central High getting that at least touchdown there. A little confusion by the refs on the field there of if it was.
Well, and again, from our angle, it looked like Dilly was in, but there was no signal from the across the side official across the way. A short kick that will be picked up by one of the upbacks and then driven out at the 28-yard line.
Fielded by Mascarenas.
So Mascarenas makes the grab, and let's see where they'll officially spot the football. So it looks like for South, and they're going to have, again, it's a deliberate offense. They don't want to be forced to pass, but they got to score in a hurry.
I was going to say,
they got to answer back in a hurry.
Is this where Trey Trimble has to at least, is a gut check time for him, and is he going to be called on to throw passes or at least those deep balls, which he certainly can. We have seen it many a time. He can absolutely do that, but is Dan Gallus going to open up the playbook, so to speak, or at least change things up and go to the air?
Well, they do have the wind at their back. First down and 10, ball on the 24-yard line. Dominguez, Garcia are the wings. Mascarenas in the backfield as the fullback. In motion goes Garcia, hold everything, a timeout called by South. Trimble didn't like something, so he immediately called a timeout.
Well, it looked like the personnel was at least a little confusion on the play call.
And did they award the timeout?
The refs are discussing it right now.
Well, Central is headed over to their bench defensively, and they have awarded the timeout. With 11:43 to go, Central 21, South 10 back after this 30-second timeout. So the Fighting Bison offense comes on over to the sidelines to discuss what set of plays they'd like to run against the Indians. And again, time now will be their enemy, especially if they try to obtain a sustained drive. They're gonna probably march about 5-6 minutes off the clock, Nick.
Do want to pass along quickly as well too up in Gillette. Kelly Walsh leads Campbell County 44-0 in the third quarter.
First down and 10, and Trimble fakes the handoff, rolls to his right, steps, throws, and overshoots his man as he tried to hook up with Bardo. Incomplete. It'll be second down and 10.
And as I expected there by Coach Dan Gallus, again, trying to throw it out, at least get that quick score by South High to get back into this contest here. But, again, no one was even close in the vicinity to catch that pass for South.
Again, the Fighting Bison on the hash mark to the far side. Ball resting on the 24-yard line. Time right now against the Fighting Bison. It's amazing, too. They went to the locker room with all this momentum, and here in the second half, they just haven't been able to kickstart anything. Back to pass goes Trimble. He steps, he throws, got a man. Oh, in and out of the hands of Burns. However, I think maybe it was Nate Lundberg that might have got a paw on it as well.
Yeah, I do believe you're correct on that.
Because Lundberg stuck out a hand right at the last minute, might have deflected it off Burns' hands. 3rd down and 10.
This run and gun offense of South High has kind of changed things up again. As I mentioned, open up the playbook and trying new things here. Again, Trey Trimble at least not cashing in on those passes so far.
Trimble's completed 2 and 1 to the enemy this evening. He'll roll back, step, throws, got a man. It's almost picked off. Oh, my. That one by Jackson Thomas. And that could have been a pick 6.
Absolutely. It's 4th down and 10, however, and for South, I would think they might punt in this situation to get at least – don't allow Central to have the at least positive possession in South's favor.
Well, Trimble will have to boot it away. Vitae will retreat to his 45. Bottom line is Central is going to come away with great field position. Trimble has a little bit of a wind working at his back. And he will put a big foot into that. What a kick. Nice one as it hits the turf at the 25-yard line where it's downed. That was a nice, again, not a fan of that type of kick, but again, he had to show that they might fake it.
Guess what? It worked, though. It was
positive. The rugby-style
kick
that time paid off to the tune of 51 yards and no return.
Again, that rugby style, which we will see coming up at least Saturday with Wyoming Cowboys, again, as it's made from high school ranks to at least college and somewhat in the pros.
I don't know with Dante Crow. I think Dante Crow more is just a straightaway kicker, right? He does he do a little bit of that as well? Interesting. Well, when I saw him punt the 2 times against Fresno State, he was just a straight drop back punter.
Well, I'm surprised in that contest you had one eye open as kind of.
Once I get into lazy boy, I'm usually snoring by about
I'm just
halftime.
saying, well, you don't even need the lazy boy for how the Wyoming Cowboys are playing right now.
Trips to the near side, 1st down and 10, ball on the 25-yard line. In motion will be Vitae. Snap is back. McCleary steps, throws, got a man at the 35-yard line.
He dropped that.
Did he drop it? Incomplete, as Johnson couldn't come up with it.
Again, had it in his possession for a little bit, fell to the turf, and then just let it roll out.
That would have been more than enough for the 1st down. 2nd down and 10, stops the clock with 11:13. Game moved pretty fast in the first half. Kind of crawling now here in quarter number 4.
Which is a benefit for South High to get back into this contest.
McCleary operates out of the gun again. This time to Goosen. Goosen feels his way through. 1st down and more. Busts his way to the 40-yard line. 15 yards on that run. And it's 1st down and 10.
Positive, at least for Colby Goosen, again, getting at least those 2 earlier fumbles in the contest, at least getting that out of his mind and just charging forward and getting positive yards.
So for the Indians, 1st down, great field position, ball on their 40-yard line. McCleary again operating out of the gun, trips to the far side, back to pass. Looking long for Johnson. Johnson makes the grab along the sidelines. And he will be driven out. Let's see where he's driven out. They're going to say the 26-yard line on the pass and run from Johnson. You could say, though, Johnson was pushing off, though.
It's debatable, and again, you can see on the video replay, but I think Johnson had that pass pretty clear. But again, talk about a catch, though, as he was juggling a bit.
1st down and 10. On the draw, they give it off to Goosen. Goosen spun around, still on his feet, down to the 10-yard line.
Goosen on the carry.
16 yards on the run. We got an injured Bison on the field right now, who is slow
and right now
to get up. See who that is. That might be Dominguez.
Do believe so. At least trainers right now covering up that number.
16 yards on the run from Goosen on the delayed draw.
But here we are right now for the Central High offense right now. They smell blood, and they're trying to put the nail in the coffin right now and solidify their position in the Class 4A playoffs.
If that is his running mate, Wyatt Garcia will check into the defensive lineup now. The clock is stopped with 10:47 to go. Actually, that is not. That will be Tyler Wilkin, who went down on the deck, but he walks off under his own power. That's good to see. And for the Indians, first down at the, well, it's first and goal at the 10.
It's been a struggle for the South High defense on this possession right now, and they need to, it's gut check time for them, and they need to stop Central right now.
This could be turn out the lights, the party's over if Central puts it in the end zone. Back to pass goes McCleary. Under heavy rush, fumbles the ball. It's loose on the turf. South comes away with it. South High will have the football at the 13.
Asking you shall receive. South getting the big turnover.
Austin White coming up with the football, and the pigskin will return to the South High Fighting Bison at the 14-yard line.
Gives a little life back into the Fighting Bison now.
10:36 to go. That was huge right there for Fighting Bison fans. Again, Central well on their way to get into the end zone
they had,
and put this thing out of reach.
And on that offensive possession for Central, they were having no trouble moving down the field. That was huge for South, that stop.
First down and 10. Trimble. Back to pass. He lots a long one down the field, and it'll be incomplete. He wanted to go deep, and he did for Burns, left it short. Burns had a couple of steps on his on Nathaniel Talich, and he couldn't come up with it, so the sophomore can't grab the pass. It was about a yard short.
Just barely. Again,
Yeah.
he had to lay out for that, at least to attempt to get that catch. But, again, interesting decision by South here. Again, don't question it, but, again, for Trey Trimble, he's had difficulties finding those open receivers and getting the pass completed. So I'm surprised that they haven't gone back to the old tradition of just run and gun.
Trimble's missed on his last three, and we got motion in the backfield on the Fighting Bison.
So which will back them up further into their territory.
Back to the 9, so it'll be second down and 15. So Bardo quickly comes to the sideline to get the play and then trots it back out. 10:30 to go on the Pepsi scoreboard. It's ironic because we were saying up here how fast the first half went. Now this fourth quarter, again, it's inching along right now.
Well, I think that's just a telltale sign because you're the one who mentioned it, that you're kind of the kiss of death on that one.
I'm the kiss of death. Thank you. I appreciate that. Back to pass goes Trimble. Rolls to his right, throws one up for grabs, and
it's
who
going to be
has
picked
it?
off.
It's either Johnson or Dilly, and it'll be Johnson who picks it off at the 29-yard line. So it'll be first down for Cheyenne Central.
So both teams catching the turnover bug here in the fourth quarter.
As the South High Fighting Bison give it back to Cheyenne Central.
And again, in great position for at least Central again on. They're deep into the South High territory.
You know, you would look at Coach Mike Apodaca and say, let's fire the football and try to get that winning score, and then you would come out and give them a case of Kobe Goosen.
I was going to say, if I'm Mike Apodaca right here at this first play and probably for the rest of this drive, just again with Kobe Goosen where he's kind of found himself now in this contest, I'd just keep on giving it to him, drive up the gut, and just kill clock, at least kill time off this clock.
First down and 10. Ball on the 29-yard line of the Bison. In motion goes Vite, and they'll give it off to Goosen. Goosen sidesteps one tackler, and then we'll have a flag thrown.
Flag on the play.
Goosen down to the 24-yard line, and looks like Austin White shaken up by that last play. The flag will be whistled against the Indians on a hold.
Still first down.
So we'll replay the down. Ball marked back to the 39-yard line. And it'll be first down and 10 for the Indians. McCleary will trot back to the huddle.
Actually, not first down and 10, first down and 20.
Excuse me, first down and 20. Looks like Cade Burns is warming up on the sidelines. He may come in to replace Trimble at the QB spot. McCleary rolls to his right. Under heavy rush steps one would-be tackler. Steps up, throws, got a man, Dilly. Dilly makes the grab, crossed the way at the 23-yard line.
Second down, Indians.
16 yards on that pass play.
The South High defenders are getting pressure on McCleary, but they're just at least not wrapping up and taking them down and getting those, at least taking advantage of those opportunities.
7 catches unofficially for Dilly this evening. Ball on the 22-yard line will give him 17 yards on that pass reception. So for the Indians, second down, 3. This time they'll go to Goosen. Goosen breaks free to the 5. Touchdown!
Nice little stiff arm there to get into the end zone by Colby Goosen.
22 yards for Kobe Goosen. And the Indians have pretty much
sealed
this deal for them going to the playoffs under first-year head coach Mike Apodaca. Tippett will be on to attempt the PAT to extend it to an 18-point lead. Snap is back, placement is down, kick is up, and it is good. 9:24 to go. Indians 28, Fighting Bison 10 back after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. It looks like the Central Indians will be playing football again next Friday night, but they'll be traveling whether they head to Gillette or Natrona,
or possibly Cheyenne East.
Well,
however, Sheridan is still taking care of business over there, but yeah, it's going to be a lengthy road trip for at least Central High is how it's looking in for South.
Well, I would think too, because correct me if I'm wrong, Natrona beat Thunder Basin. So Natrona would be the number 1 seed if East loses. Kick is deep, right. He collides with Dominguez, 15-yard line, trying to get outside. Throws a stiff arm out, down to the 22-yard line, first down 10. If we go back to the thing,
First down, Bison.
the 3 teams that are on top, East beat Natrona, Natrona beat Thunder Basin, Thunder Basin beat East. If East loses, it will be a 2-way tie. And Natrona has a tiebreaker over Thunder Basin.
How about this? I give you score updates from Class 4A. Natrona leads Rock Springs right now 49-6. That is in the third quarter. Thunder Basin leading Laramie 36-0. That also 2 in the third. Sheridan up 35-7 over East. That is also 2 in the third quarter. And Kelly Walsh still leading Campbell County 44-0. That 2 in the third.
Well, it looks like the Thunderbirds are going to drop to 4th place. Hand off straight ahead to check that. It'll be one of the wing backs there. Nice job by Burns, handing it off to Dominguez. Unfortunately for Dominguez, he will go maybe for a couple of yards from the 22 to the 24.
And I think this is smart by South High on the offensive side. Again, going back to what has carried him in, at least got him victories, and what has led him to at least the first half at lead. Again, go back to that running game.
Well, you can go back to the running game, Nick, but you got to score now. You can't score
but I'm just
5
saying,
minutes from now.
What we saw with Trey Trimble struggling with throwing the football, again, go back to what has at least carried this team throughout this season.
Trimble now at the fullback position. He'll take the handoff, goes off tackle, 30-yard line, and he will pick up 6 on the run.
Third down, Bison.
So third down for Cheyenne South, trailing by 18. So for the Indians, if they do win right now, it looks like, and if everything goes according to what we're seeing on the scoreboard, the Indians will be at Thunder Basin next Friday night in Gillette.
Yeah. 2-1 also, too, out of Class 2A for Burns. The Bronx, they are trailing Thermopolis 20-6. That is in the second quarter.
That's Coach Morrison's homecoming.
Absolutely. And Pine Bluffs is leading Lust 7-0 in the third.
Third down is short. Give it off to the big back. Tribble just pushing the pile forward to the 36-yard line. Nice run that time by Trey. And it will be first down and 10. Clock right now at the 7:43 mark as they wind it once the chain gang gets put into place. So 36-yard line for the Fighting Bison.
Not too much of a hurry-up offense by South right now, as again, if they're going to continue this running streak, again, not hurrying up to the line as fast as at least I would hope.
Well, they're without the services of Alex Soto, hurt on the first offensive play this evening that he carried the football. Fumbling the snap is Burns. Central says they have it.
And it looks like they do.
As Burns pulled away from center too fast. And the Indians will take over the football on the 36-yard line.
And again, great field position for Central right now to possibly, not say run up the score, but add another one. And again, completely solidify this victory for them.
Fifth turnover, I do believe, for Cheyenne South this evening. 3 interceptions and a couple of fumbles now. So the ball on the 36-yard line of South.
And I think the simple thing, as much as Dawson McCleary has been great throwing the ball, I think you stick true with Colby Goose and kill some time off that clock.
Ball right now on the Fighting Bison 36. McCleary out of the gun, sends Vitae in motion. Little fly sweep as Vitae gets to the outside, 35, and over their 30 down. No, they'll say he steps out at the 30. So give him 6 yards on the run.
Actually, I think they'll say he stayed in bounds as the clock is still running.
All right, well, either way, his knees touch down at the 30.
Which is also to a smart play by him. Again, it keeps that clock running.
Second down to 4. McCleary on the hard count and then backs away. Again, Central no hurry now to snap it. As the Rolling Stones sang, time is on their side. Back to pass goes McCleary. Wants it all for
the flag
Johnson,
will be thrown on that.
as he was blanket covered by KRAE Wright. Unfortunately, too much was the coverage, and Wright will be whistled for the pass interference. So that will mark it 15 yards. The ball right now at the 30, so they'll mark him to the 15 on the pass interference call.
As a ref now making an official pass interference on South.
We used to call that back in the day face guarding because Wright never turned around and Johnson was waiting for the pass. But again, Wright was with him step for step. Unfortunately, didn't turn around and look for the ball.
Well, I mean, a lot of things were different back in your day. I think you could buy a hamburger for 25 cents or however you keep on spinning that.
We played with the old leather helmets too.
And look at your generation now with that, I guess.
Yeah.
Was that a job? Was that a jab at you? I don't know.
Well, back then we didn't get flags thrown at us for hitting people either. Back to pass goes McCleary as he tried to go through the belly, faked it, tried to go to Storbo. It's incomplete, and then McCleary took one right in the gut.
He's a little slow right now. He's limping off, at least heading to the sideline.
See, and this is where I'm kind of concerned now with the Indians. Keep it on the ground.
Again, keep it with Goose and go up the middle. He's been strong so far here in the second half. Why not?
There's no sense getting your quarterback hurt.
And look like they did a little bit, but at least McCleary's going to come back now.
I don't know. It might be his hand that he had when he threw the football. Might have threw it, hit his hand on an opposition helmet.
Got a little stinger.
So for the Indians, they look at second down and 10 from the 15 of the Fighting Bison. McCleary sends Vitae in motion. This time we'll give it off to Goosen. Goosen goes nowhere. And a name that we've called quite often tonight, Austin White, wraps him up, drops him for the loss of 3 back to the 18. 6 minutes to go on the Pepsi scoreboard. Central well in control of this ball game, 28-10. Again, Central on the road next weekend.
But where will it be? We do not know at this point in time.
Until a couple things get taken care of. But if East does go on to lose to Sheridan, it'll make the math pretty simple. The Indians will call a timeout with 5:41 to go. 28-10 our score. We'll be back after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. We thank you so much for joining us tonight on 1480 KRAE. Larry Perotti, Sonny Boy, Nick Perotti to my right. A great night for football here in the Cap City. Unfortunately, here at South High, not a banner night for the South High Fighting Bison. It looks like their season is going to wrap up at 2-7.
And also, too, is October, which does mean baseball playoffs going underway with the NLCS. Milwaukee is leading 5-1 over the LA Dodgers. That is in the top of the 5th.
Here, fourth quarter. 5:41 to go. Ball on the 18-yard line for Cheyenne Central. McCleary back to pass. Looking deep in the end zone, and it will be incomplete. Trying to hook up with Viche. Good coverage that time by Joe Hansen. And it will be 4th down. So Tippett will come on.
Again, go for the points. At least just add on to that lead. Makes sense.
Well, and it'll be from 35 yards out, straight away.
And again, no need to go for it on 4th down where, again, you have a clear lead over South.
Talich will be your holder from 35 yards out. Tippett puts a foot into it. It's up and good. So Tegan Tippett from 35 makes it 31-10. Cheyenne Central over the South High Fighting Bison. 5:30 to go. We're back after this 30-second timeout. Right here on 1480 KRAE. .35-yard field goal, good from Tegan Tippett, as the Indians pick up a 31-10 lead now on the South High Fighting Bison. Back will be Wright and Dominguez deep. They will head back to around their 5 and 8 yard line. Dominguez on the 8. Tippett's ready to boot it away. And end over ender picked up by Wright at the 5 to the 10, 15, 20-yard line. Stumbles forward to the 23, 22. That's where the knees touch down, and it will be 1st down and 10 for the South High Fighting Bison.
1st down Bison.
Well, the Fighting Bison here in the second half, they've been on a milk carton. They haven't showed up. They started out their first drive.
And again, you would hope momentum from that first half. Again, that incredible just INT for a touchdown for South that gave him the lead at half would carry over into this second half. But, as you mentioned against South, they have just been non-existent. And also, too, what has hurt them the most is, again, they have met their match with turnover bugs so far here in this half.
Now we'll have a timeout called. And I do believe this one might be whistled by Cheyenne Central. With 5:23 to go, Indians lead 31-10 back after this 30-second timeout of 1480 KRAE. We also want to thank Terrell Honda, Baskin-Robbins, Cheyenne State Bank, Marv's Plumbing and Heating, Merritt Plumbing and Heating, Chick-fil-A, Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service, the Gilwitta Company, Best Western Plus, Frontier Inn, Little Philly, Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service, Platte Valley Bank. Thank you so much for being a part of our broadcast. Burns back to pass, throws, got a man. That is Hunter Scott. Scott to the 36-yard line. So 13 yards on the gain on the pass play from Burns.
Dare I say the South High Fighting Bison team trying to at least gain maybe a little Mega Millions astronomical
ball right now
tonight.
on the 37-yard line. So we'll give them 14 on the pass reception. And it's first down for South High. Again, out of the flex bone. They'll hand it off to Trimble. Trimble powers his way to the 41. So they're going to give him 4 on the run.
South does at least a notable annotation. They do have 2 timeouts left.
Again, we want to thank Platte Valley Bank, Taco John's, First Tier Bank, Big Apple Bagels, the Cheyenne Stampede, MHP, McGee Hernan Pies, Halliday Motors, Capital Lumber Company, B&B Appliance and TV, Fat Boys Tire and Auto, First Education Federal Credit Union, the Bread Basket Bakery, Lennox Auto Body, Key of Cheyenne, Medicap Pharmacy, and Pepsi of Cheyenne with our Pepsi scoreboard. 4:05 to go in this contest. Burns to Trimble. Trimble, again, just on the good old-fashioned dive right to the 43. Picks up 2.
Quickly, as you mentioned with the Cheyenne Stampede, again, do want to remind folks they are on the road at least this weekend for a 3-game series against Casper Bobcats. Both teams looking for their first win of the season. So good luck to the Cheyenne Stampede tonight as they are underway right now.
Stamp 7:30 tonight, 7:30 tomorrow night, and
they will be at least not a 1 o'clock. It will be 12:15 on Sunday's matinee.
Sunday. Third down, short for the Fighting Bison. Back to pass goes Burns. He steps, he throws, he's got Scott. Scott will drive forward for the first down. Nice move that time by Hunter Scott on the 6-yard aerial. So Scott with 2 receptions from Burns. And it's first down to 10. South at least trying to, go down with some dignity here in this contest as they continue on with the offense. Ball on the 48, their own 48. Burns rolls to his right. He steps, he throws, he fires one deep into the turf. There was no way he was going to get that into the hands of Trimble.
Almost just kind of felt the pressure of the Central High defense there and just threw it away.
So for Burns and the Fighting Bison, it's second down at 10. 3:15. Pepsi scoreboard is now officially stopped. Indians 31 and the Fighting Bison 10. The sophomore quarterback will bring him up to the line of scrimmage. They'll give it off to Trimble. Trimble down into Indians territory to the 39-yard line. Nice run that time by Trey Trimble from the 48 down to the 39.
And something that he's been making a living off of tonight in this contest, again, just driving it up the middle. Something that South should have just kind of continued on with him throughout the evening.
13 rushes for Trey Trimble tonight. Coming up on the 3-minute mark.
Again, South not really too much in a hurry to get things underway.
They'll save the ball on the 39-yard line. First down at 10. In motion is Dominguez. Back to pass goes Burns. He steps, he throws, he floats one out. It's caught by Bardo. Bardo at the 22-yard line. He'll make the grab. So nice job there by Burns to Bardo. And it's first down and 10. They'll say the 23-yard line.
Yeah, nice little drive here, at least, which you could kind of see is garbage time right now. But again, nice little effort here by South, trying to, again, get back and at least have some positive, at least positive momentum heading into the offseason.
Bardo with his third grab of the night. First down and 10 for the Fighting Bison. Burns rolls to his right. Steps, throws, got a bad, dropped. Hunter Scott wide open at the 15 and could not corral it.
Getting a little short on the tall Hunter Scott there, but again, unfortunately, you could not come away with that catch.
So for the Fighting Bison, they'll have a second down call with the ball on the 23-yard line of Cheyenne Central. 2:15 to go here in our contest. Indians still up by 3 touchdowns, 31-20. Check that, 31-10. Bardo will split to the near side. Scott out on top. Again, Flexbone behind. Cade Burns in motion as Dominguez handed off to Trimble. Trimble drives the pile straight ahead down to the 11-yard line.
If only they'd been doing that this entire contest. I mean, he's been gaining first downs left and right so far on this drive.
First down and 10 for the Fighting Bison on the Indians' 11-yard line.
Positive note, for at least for South, again, as we mentioned last week, again, only 11 seniors graduating from the South High team, so still a relatively young team, at least going to bring a little upperclassmen for next season. Again, at least something to focus for the South High Fighting Bison for next year.
First down and 10 on the 11-yard line. Burns will keep it himself, calls his own number to the 5, cuts back inside, touchdown! 11-yard run for Cade Burns, and the Fighting Bison are back on the scoreboard here in quarter number 4.
Making things a little interesting here in the fourth.
Stops the clock with 1:44 to go. It's 31-16. So let's see if they are planning to go for 2. And I think
I think they would.
I think the offensive unit's out there right now for the Fighting Bison. Burns huddles them up as they will go for the 2-point conversion. Scott split out on top, and Mascarenas to the near side. In motion is Dominguez. It'll be Burns calling his own numbers in for the 2-point conversion. It's good. 31-18, that's our score on the Pepsi score. They're going to say no good now. One official came in from the other side and said it was good.
2-point conversion fails.
They'll say it is no good now. 31-16 our score. Matter of fact,
Oh,
they
now
put
they'll
up
say
the
it's good. Now they'll say it's good.
Now they say it's good. Make up your mind.
2-point conversion is successful.
So what the heck is going on with these guys? 31-18 now the score. Look at the scoreboard guys all messed up now. We got
if only it was a 1-point
yeah,
at least
but only
deficit
that
for
was
South.
the case. So Burns does take the 2-point conversion in, makes it 31-18. We'll be back with the onside kick after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. For the South High Fighting Bison, again, a late touchdown, and obviously everybody on Cheyenne Central is expecting some type of onside kick because the hands team is out there. And anybody that is back deep, it would be, believe it or not, Vitae, and he's around his 33-yard line. Now he'll drop back a little further. Trying to kick it in between. Looks like Dilly comes away with a 33-yard line and down to the 34. Basically, Dilly caught it and was in really no hurry to run with it, and the South High kickoff team came down there and downed him at the 34.
Well, I think for Dilly, again, kind of hesitation and kill more time off the clock, but also,
Right.
too, again, make sure that he has it secured so it doesn't become a turnover advantage of the South High Fighting Bison.
Well, it would surprise me that Cheyenne Central would put the ball in the air.
I think so. I don't think Coach Apodaca would call for that. I think, again, you just hand off to maybe some underclassmen here. Don't necessarily need to go to Goosen. Again, you're well ahead with just, again, a minute 40 left here in this contest.
Matter of fact, it won't even be Dawson McCleary. It will be the freshman Nathan Talich who will see some time. Again, he is a 6 foot, 153-pound freshman. And he will hand it off to the second back through to the 40-yard line. And that was Braden Marks. Marks is a senior, 5'9", and 151.
Again, South does have 2 timeouts left if they wanted to use them here.
So 7 yards on the run. Now they'll retreat back to the huddle with about 75 seconds to go. And the ball resting at the 41-yard line. Again, Marks in the backfield. The up back will get the football. 40, and there's going to be a flag. It'll come back. It'll stop the play and stop the clock at the 47-yard line of Cheyenne South. That being Joey Kostaleski. So I think the run is going to be wiped out here on a holding call. Face mask against Cheyenne South. Holy Toledo.
So that just takes that run and makes it even more extravagant. And again, now Central in the South High Fighting Bison territory.
So nice run. And it was incidental, by the way. And now they'll line up in victory formation with 37 seconds left. Talich will take a knee. Hand the ball to the official.
And that will seal the deal. As players now going to shake hands there.
They don't have to snap it again. So with that being said, both teams getting ready, even though we still have 12 seconds left. Coach Gallus has his South High Fighting Bison at the 50-yard line. Mike Apodaca has his teams at the 50-yard line. Now the clock officially is at zeros, and it is a final score from South High, where it's the Central Indians winning 31-18 over the South High Fighting Bison. Win, you're in. The ticket has been punched for Cheyenne Central next weekend. And again, the way our scoreboard looks, we can say the Indians will be at Thunder Basin to take on the Bolts. Cheyenne East right now on the short end of the scoreboard.
Trailing the Sheridan.
They will be the number 4 seed. They'll be home next week to face the Laramie Plainsmen. We'll be back after these words. A 2-minute timeout right here on 1480 KRAE. Well, you lift weights, you run, especially during the summer. You come to summer camp in August. You get together as a team. You play football for hopefully more than 9 weeks of the season. Unfortunately, for the South High Fighting Bison, their season comes to a close where they wrap up the year at 2-7. And again, for at least the first half of this game, it looked pretty good for the Fighting Bison.
They made it a fun one, at least all the way up until at least halftime, and then at least that momentum we thought would carry over into the second half just kind of disappeared, and Central took advantage and again came away with the victory in this one. But again, a lot of positive marks for South. Again, unfortunate that the season does come to an end here, but again, going and looking forward, at least for Dan Gallis' squad, again, a lot of positives at least heading into next season for the South High Fighting Bison.
Well, leading at intermission 10-7, unfortunately, Dawson McCleary heated up in the second half, and he was throwing, bombs to Blaine Dilley and to Johnson, where these were big touchdown passes. And again, they had the size advantage. These seniors, again, on this offensive unit, having the size advantage against a very smaller secondary and taking advantage of those passes. Again, Dilley with the touchdown grab in the second half. Johnson, again, that being Andrew Johnson with the touchdown grab. Vitae had one in the first half, so 3 touchdowns there. A run by Kobe Goosen for the other score, and then a Tippett's 35-yard field goal, 31 points for the Cheyenne Central Indians. 18 on the board tonight for the
key thing for at least for South High as well too. We can't forget again all the turnovers, the costly INTs again by Trey Trimble, but also too again the fumbles as well. That mounted up and eventually, especially there in that second half, where I do believe 3 by South High. Again, I do believe on all 3 at least were points on the board for Central High.
Yeah, and then a late score by Cade Burns for the Cheyenne South High Fighting Bison, and then he also took in the 2-point conversion too as well. So for the South High Fighting Bison, they tried to hang as best as they could with Central in the second half, just kind of ran out of gas. It seemed like that 1 4th down situation that they couldn't get over the hump when they had the ball in their initial drive, and they just were playing uphill the rest of the way. Again, Central will move on in Class 4A. They'll get to live to see another week next week, and again, right now, and I don't know where we're at with the scores, but we knew that East was getting beaten soundly at the Oakey Blanchard Sports Complex by Sheridan. So for now, here's the way we set it up. We know that East, if they do lose, will be the number 4 seed.
Which is looking like they will be losing over
there. So they will have a
Blanchard.
home date next week at the Oakey Blanchard Sports Complex.
And they will host Laramie.
They'll host the Laramie Plainsmen, who solidified number 5. Central will move into the number 7 hole. They will be on the road, and they will face off with the
Thunder
Basin Bolts, and that will be in Gillette. So the Bolts and the Indians next week in the first round of the playoffs. That'll be a 2-7 matchup. And for Cheyenne East, probably the only home game they're going to have. It will be a 4-5 matchup at the Oakey Blanchard Sports Complex. Once again, the final score here from tonight, it's 31-18 as the Central Indians have defeated the South High Fighting Bison. Again, a lot of thank yous on the way, and we'll do the sponsorship one more time because, again, without our fine sponsors, we couldn't do this. So, again, we thank Terrell Honda, Pepsi of Cheyenne, Baskin-Robbins, Medicap Pharmacy, Cheyenne State Bank, Key of Cheyenne, Merritt Plumbing and Heating, Lennox Auto Body, Chick-fil-A, the Bread Basket Bakery, Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service, the Gill Window Company, First Education Federal Credit Union, Best Western Plus, Frontier Inn, Little Philly, Fat Boys Tire and Auto, Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service, Platte Valley Bank, Taco John's, B&B Appliance and TV, Marv's Plumbing and Heating, First Tier Bank, Capital Lumber Company, Big Apple Bagels, Halliday Motors, the Cheyenne Stampede, and McGee Hernan Pies, MHP. So with that all being said, we're going to say adios from South High. Again, the final score, Indians 31, Bison 18. Thank you again to Jacob Hamill back at the house. Another great job. Thank you to my broadcast partner and the man taking care of the YouTube and the Periscope via Twitter performance and all of the audio as well.
Enjoy it for tonight because, unfortunately, next week I will be out of town attending a wedding. So
I think we're all pretty glad that you're going to be gone next week.
Yeah, so speak for yourself, pal.
All right. Anyway, with that all being said, we're going to wrap it up here. Again, thank you to all of you that watched it and listened to it tonight. Unfortunately, if you were a South High fan, not the score you wanted to hear. But if you're a Central Indian fan, you should be very happy and very proud of the Cheyenne Central Indians, who now move to 3-6 on the season. The Fighting Bison wrap up at 2-7. Final score once again here from Fighting Bison Stadium: Cheyenne Central 31, South High 18. With that all being said, we say good night, enjoy your weekend, and we return to regular programming on 1480 KRAE.